I pulled out a lot of old adventure modules just to show, the ones I
good.
have, and I found one I've been looking for a while. I thought I had lost it.
Some
A
that
rare
was lost?
one. I don't know if you've probably seen it, but like, yeah, I got a real rare one. I was like, wow, that's TSR. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Hello,
Hey,
Coco.
Courtney. Hope you're doing well.
Yep.
First on. That's right. Button not working. Hit that. Looks good here. 69 months for Rocinante. Awesome. Very cool. They're ready. Be a fun one tonight. Courtney, I'm glad you liked your pick for one of your characters. So, and I'm thinking we can make a one generational Sylvan Elf for Imri if you want to participate. Because I'm going to have
Sure.
3 adventures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, well, thank you. The great thing is I can go back, as long as they were saved, but like my first generation characters, a lot of the early adventuring groups, and I used it with, they didn't have the save feature. Now they have a favorite save feature. So any character done in the last year and a half, 2 years has it. So I had all her traits, and I just had to change off of that. So it's good for relatives. So it works. All right, so Alan Crowley will be joining us in a little bit.
Now, when I see this, there will probably be a couple of locations I can put stuff on the map. There might be a few that actually have a location, so to speak, that might be there.
And a lot of it's coming from Tommy, where Tommy Kelly put stuff in his stories.
Okay.
You know, that's a cool thing. So I'm going here next, right? Yeah.
So I need to go over this. I have it on my to-do list. So
yeah, he's got so much.
When we first began working with Gary Gygax,
he's got so many different cool stories beyond that, but I just love, I've always loved this.
What he envisioned was
because it's right in our wheel area, and it's just like, we've been searching for. Remember, Luke Gygax's character found a weapon.
Making our games, creating our adventures,
Captain Fulray, he actually found his grave.
Whatever it
so.
And there was really no end to what he envisioned this series to be. We eventually published The Canting Crew, The World Builder, Living Fantasy, 7 volumes in total. We had another 3 that were ready to go to print, another 3 or 4 after that we were working on. So the series was really open-ended. We are bringing these.
Hey man, how'd that con go last weekend? I forgot to ask you that.
We've got 7 books online ready to be printed. We've got another 3 right after that we want to get it minimally out as we were working on them at the time.
Okay, I guess it's better than bad, right?
Does, and maybe even more than that. Once we kind of push beyond the necessary stretch goals and all that mess.
I will have them.
Welcome to
all 3 of your sheets
what we're calling
done
the Gary Gygax World Building Archives. And please give us your support. Share it around if you can. Pledge if you can. Whatever you need to do, whatever you can do for us in the memory of Gary Gygax, we very much appreciate it.
Thank you.
Trollord Games, join the fray.
Always so freaking loud. Hey, Taryn. What's going on? Once again, I'll put it out there, Taryn. Let me know if you're able to play any games again. I know you got a lot going on where you're living, so just let me know. Got one. Let's hit the classic KTV print up for tonight. Tomorrow night will be ever on for the first time. Thanks, Rascal. that feeling. Like, doing okay. Always could be better, but things are good. Last follower was to 11,500, so we made our big goal. Yay! Just got one right before we went live, which is awesome. Thank you. What could be better? I don't know there. XL Novell. There's a lot of things that, I mean, could be better or, yeah. There are a lot of things that could be better. Let's thank you for where we are right now, right?
Yep.
All right. Oh, there was a quickie wrong button. Oh wow, 30th anniversary of the Crow. Oh my God, he's been dead 30 years. Holy jeez, Brandon Lee. What's up, Chad? We're gonna go over some classic D&D adventures, where they are and where they could be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like an expert at this, and I've done a lot.
I was just going to say, I rely on you completely.
Yeah.
I can find my way around the map, but and we can find alternate locations. But you're the expert at this.
And we can talk about some that are out of the norm. Hey, Kurt.
Yeah.
Get some shouts here.
Mm-hmm. And I also interested because I'm sure there will be some here locations that I haven't added that needs to be added to the map. So it's good for that reason too.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll have Alan on at some time, and he said he'd be on right around 7, so he'll be on, and then we'll start off. So everyone, sorry to disappoint, but this is the first Saturday in 9 weeks. I will not have a Saturday morning or evening stream. So, yeah. Yes. Why does not? Hey, thanks for the resub, by the way, too. I appreciate your sub. So there's Alan. It says Heather. That's his wife. So. I hear.
Yep. Soon we will see him too.
I hear Alan.
Indeed.
In the hobbit hole. Yes. Hello.
They are, Sam. They are, man. I like this kind of discussion here. Let me give me 1 second. I'll quick re-shout out to the main Discord and Cannon Fire, which I forgot.
Hello. I love your shelves. It looks so hobbit holy.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Alan. So, what'd you have for dinner, man? Did you do a takeout tonight, and you had to cook?
No. I had finished off some leftovers. Had some pork chops and some sautéed potatoes left over from Memorial Day.
Getting me hungry again here.
That's cool.
Some rolls and stuff.
So I appreciate you coming on, man. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Yeah, sure.
And we'll come
Happy to help cover if as needed, desired.
Oh, we're close to a hype it up already.
Wow.
Hype it up. Oh, there we go. Ba-boom. Coming live. Awesome. Good to see everyone. Starting off the week. It doesn't feel like Wednesday. It's just that Memorial Days and Labor Days do this to you all the time.
Yeah.
Plus,
and then we had the stream Monday, so
yes,
we were kind of
the Edge stream Monday. So that was fun. That was a really good time with the legendary Ed Greenwood and everyone joining in on a Monday night. So now it's a Wednesday and we're here. I got Alan Growy, the Grow Dog, with us. So the good thing, Alan, is we don't have to worry about someone yelling at me for the first 30 minutes of a stream this time.
Who is yelling at you most recently?
Robert, right?
He can go off on a rant.
Ranting. And I tried.
I thought maybe you were having some difficulties with Ed, perhaps.
Oh no, never.
Oh yeah,
I've never had a fight with Ed ever. And that's
No.
amazing. Like when I take and abuse his spells on himself, he doesn't even give me a fight. But he tries to, he tries to do what like Tim and Alan do in my game, and that is he tries to make every little nuanced trick in the game, right? Like he did at GaryCon with the teleporter gem. He teleported the Greenwood Dragon away. I was like, all right, I'll let you do that. It's at a con. So thanks, Whitus now. And good to see everyone. I hope you're all doing well. So this topic is another GREYHAWK Mike topic. Mike always picks them and then he can't come because
exactly. So he picks good topics and then yeah.
Yeah. So I got a pile of old adventures. I just brought out these aren't all of them that we're going to discuss, but many of them. There are some old classic adventures that aren't set in GREYHAWK that are in
a number.
Yeah, and I
think and there's some that can be easily shoehorned in that should be set in GREYHAWK, so to speak, but officially aren't.
I want to hear all of your ideas where you play stuff too, and let's see, and then maybe come to some consensus. I know there'll be some arguing about it. In particular, if Rich shows up, Rich Diolia shows up, because he always says I'm wrong everywhere I play stuff, right, Anna? It's like, no, it doesn't go there.
But it's good because you guys are the expert at this. I'm good at the geography bit, and I also hope to get a couple of more locations we put on the map that I've forgotten. So that will be great. Awesome if we can. We will probably weed out a few. Yep, because I was going to go over this map on Canify that we will use as our guide, so to speak, today. So it's on my to-do list. So yeah.
Excellent.
Very cool.
So Alan,
I actually had somebody was just asking actually, Anna, about a location on your map that over on Cannon Fire in the forum discussions, and we were kind of surmising that it was probably a Meyerhawk edition. I think it was a town called Glede, Glede, maybe.
Oh, it wasn't the one.
They weren't sure if it was or Glebe, maybe Glebe.
Where the heck is it? It's not my location. I haven't come up with it. So do you know where it is?
Their possibility was living GREYHAWK.
That is probably living
I'll dig
GREYHAWK.
up I'll dig up the link.
Yeah, see where it's located, because that tells us if it's a place where living GREYHAWK went to, then we can probably.
I think it was a Keoland link, if I remember.
Well,
right. I'll pop the thread in.
Here comes a raid in already. Quest Junkies, cool. Good to see you. Thank you so very much. All right, so let me set the giveaway. I think did I do the giveaway setup already? I did. We got a classic D&D reprint giveaway.
Is it GLE?
Good to see you.
ED.
The way they typed it, it was GLEBE. But here, I found the link, and I'll pop it in the Discord chat.
Very good.
Perfect. Yep.
So it as not to break anything.
Get it on a giveaway. Classics. You want the pile is now half my height, or maybe less. I mean, this is 1/10 of the pile that Patrick has provided us.
Okay,
so there you go.
Now I know.
Look,
okay.
Free City GREYHAWK in here. Den of Thieves. Just I even have a Marklands. I have a Vecna lives in this pile too. We got Shokanth, all sorts of great things. So winner gets their choice. All right, and if we get to a certain level hype train, then we'll up it up even more. So hey, Kat, yours are on the way. You got 2 books coming to you. So from your win the other day. All right, let me do this. Let me bring up the Order of Yulok map, and then we're gonna take a look for this right off the bat. Okay, let me bring this up. Hope everyone is doing well tonight. Enjoy the discussion, and please participate in the discussion. All right, so where is it? It's in Keoland?
It is, yeah. So it was here, I'll pull the
It could be
I'll
Gary
describe the thread.
From Gary Julian's article.
So what they said was this was the user Sketch or Skek, who was saying he was looking for information about the Viscounty of Grebe. Oh, I totally bangled it. GREBE in Keoland.
It's Gary
vassalage.
It's Gary Julian.
Yep.
It's Gary Julian's Keoland article all the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Sam, you're on. Can you link a place where that's got to be on?
It's a living GREYHAWK journal, one of these journals that has
thought
a
it
map
was in
and
actual
stuff.
dungeon, wasn't it? And it got ported over.
It might be one of these where they have dungeon as part of the living. Yeah.
But my guess is that there's a post for that on Cannon Fire itself. because it was so popular. I have, that's funny. I have it as, I have the article, but I don't have it in a download spots. You know what I mean? Or I do it. But yeah, that's definitely Grebe would be in Living Greyhawk Keyland Adventure. Yeah, but wouldn't it be? Didn't Sam? Didn't Gary Julian put all the different counties on the Keyland map? So that's my guess. I'm looking for it here. Glebe, is it up north? I'm just looking to see where it would be.
I'm not sure where it is. Yeah. It's apparently it's on my map, but
yeah, so
there's so much stuff I can't remember.
Yes, it borders between Linth and Blairfield.
Here's Linth.
Okay, Linth. Oh, we have a town called Breed here.
There it is. It's a town. It's a Viscounty too. There it is.
The town Breed. Okay, now I have a spelling. Okay, now
all right, so you notice it's yellow. This could be an addition from Living Greyhawk off the Gary Julian locations, like Sam says, because it's in yellow. Look, it's not in orange. See it?
Yep.
Yeah.
There is a word like that mentioned in.
Yeah. See, look at all this fun stuff you get.
Yeah.
And while that's going on
here.
While that's going on, this was asked about on. I think it was on Will. I think it was on your site. The Pagoda of Harmonic Key. Did I say that right? Key. That was asked about too, and I have a feeling that is Living Greyhawk Yeomanry. Just have a feeling. Anyone else know about that one?
Hang on a second. The Pagoda of.
Yeah, there was a question about this last week on. I'm almost positive.
Hang on a second. I need to find the spelling for that thing too. Greed. There is. Hang on a second.
Grebe.
Grebe. Okay, hang on a second.
Yeah, and you have it on the maps. You have a site.
Yeah, I'm looking at the damn map. I can't find it. So
all right, so go. It's in the K and Keyland.
Now I got you. Yeah, got you. Yeah, got you. Yep. Mm-hmm. Grebe.
Interesting. So,
so there was speculation that it might have been Living Greyhawk as well.
Yes, it's
as
mentioned
well as the possibility
in
of it being
three Living Greyhawk. Yeah, it's Virtue or Venture, a Keyland scenario, Will of the People, another Greyhawk canon or Keyland scenario, and also Breaking Point is another one. Yeah. No, that's just that's yeah. So it's two Keyland. There
we go.
06, 08, Virtue and Venture. So it's from those two Living Greyhawk modules.
Excellent.
That's where it's from.
And then this one, the Pagoda of Harmonic QI.
Yeah, QI. Let's go for QI.
That one was asked about over the weekend as well. So
QI. Let's see what we got here.
So while that's going on, there are a lot of adventures that didn't originally belong at Greyhawk, but were absconded by Greyhawk. So we were thieves, just like you could say WotC has been for years. But we were.
What do you expect from the setting of Thieves?
Yes, exactly. We've done it too. So it's a lot, and we can discuss some of them right off the bat. And why don't we go to Alan? Why don't we go to the biggest one of all time? To start, once Anna figures out if she is right or not yet here on this. And what do you think, Anna? If it doesn't need to be located now.
It's okay. Yeah,
it really doesn't. But
out of curiosity, Anna, are you pulling up a metadata layer in your map that distinguishes sources?
Not yet. I want to have it. I put it in Evernote. All my research data is in Evernote, and then I can search Evernote because Evernote also OCRs all the map images and all text. So I've been putting for over 10 years. I worked on putting all the information in Evernote, so I can search for things. The problem is that I get hits that aren't only partial words and stuff like that. So QI was a difficult one.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So if you want to follow along with a lot, and you're not a member, you will have to sign up.
It's somewhere. Worth Journal is probably a
interesting.
Hang on a second. I'm going to add Pagoda and see what we get from.
Yeah, I think Pagoda would be a lot easier to search for.
Yeah.
Keyword.
So Alan, you linked this site right on that's what you put in chat.
The discussion I put into the
right here
into the Discord chat.
There we go. I just want to make sure it links to it. Okay, there. Yeah, that actually goes to the Cannon Fire chat Discord. Okay, and you can go to adventures. This is the Adventure in GREYHAWK page.
It's from Dungeon 7.
That's what it's an early dungeon. That's what I thought.
It's It's mentioned in Dungeon 7 and Dungeon 130. Now I need to drill down and see, because that might be a false hit, one of them. So
Dungeon 7's right, I think, because it's a monk article. It's a monk adventure, and it's in Dungeon 7. Yeah.
Small pagoda, blah blah. No, that's the Shrine of the Sea Dragon. That's not the. No, it's not 7, so it's probably 130 then. I got a hit.
There's one on monks. There you go. Look at all these. So all these adventures are here, and they're all listed on this map, which is really cool and searchable. So like if I was to press a button here, boom, there you go. And some are Carlos's, some are independents, some are dungeons, some are dragon magazines, some are published source. They're all over the place. So you can have a lot of fun with this, and we'll go over some of these tonight as well, and then we'll discuss where else they can go. Right? So please ask questions as we move along on these. Yeah. So let me do one more thing here. Let me go here. And so Alan, let's be honest. I can recall 5 to 8 that I've switched. How many do you think you have done over the years?
Oh gosh. I change them on a campaign basis. So
right.
If I'm running a different campaign, I may, move a module to a different location. So I've run Saltmarsh in Keoland. I've run U1 on the Wild Coast, for example.
I agree.
As an intro, because I think U1 is a great intro into the Slavers series.
Good point.
So yeah, there's lots of ways you can kind of fold, spindle, mutilate the placement of the old modules, because they were so modular,
right?
and that was part of the design principles, I guess, guiding a lot of it back in the day.
And at some point we'll talk about one of the, it may be called the first adventure path ever. I absconded with it and put it right here, and we'll talk about that at some point right there in Keoland. Yep. Something that was written not for a GREYHAWK. So, all right. Let's start with
Pagoda key is impossible to locate at the moment.
Okay,
it needs required deeper search to find it. So
search.
There's too many pagodas, and QI seems to be mentioned many times. So search for one or the other. I get like 35 hits, and then I have to dig through 35 PDFs or 30 or 40 either way. But that's a problem when you have like 12,000 documents. You get hits,
and you can't remember everything. I mean,
no, but I can't. But it's good to be able to search, and I've tagged.
It's good you have them all linked like that too.
Oh yeah, I have. I'm putting it in, and they are also using the dreaded. They're putting AI to search, so they basically, you train your own AI model in Evernote with your own data, which is kind of, I think, one of the more
useful uses for
it. Useful and also I would say fair uses of AI, that you train it on your own data. So yeah.
So the good thing is that I have like and Alan, you probably have the same. I have like 30 different notebooks, right, from over the years, and I can never find anything I want in there. Like, adventure number 428.
That's why I need to.
I don't know what book
modern tools.
I'm trying to do books by adventure groups now, but even that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Paper is not very searchable.
Exactly. Digitize it.
It's true.
Digitize it. Yeah.
And I won't be doing. I won't have a stream for 2 years if I have to digitize all that.
Well, you put it
you
through
need an intern,
scanner.
Jay. An intern.
Yeah, exactly. You need an intern. Yep.
An intern. Yes. That's
GREYHAWK interns.
Yes.
Wanted for the summer.
Yep.
First and foremost, the number one most popular maybe adventure of all time. All right. Keep on the Borderlands, right?
Yeah.
Now it gets
that's a special one. Yeah.
It is a special one because it's a basic adventure, right? It's supposedly
yeah, but it's also special because in the original module, it's not named. It doesn't have a name.
Right.
It's just the keep of the borderland.
That's why.
But here you exactly. There you go. The next one, when you have the return to the keep of the borderland, there it is named.
Get some great stuff in here.
Yep.
All right, I'm just gonna pull the whole silver. I told this story 1,000 times, Alan. The Echelon Mall Allied Hobbies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember them well.
I'm in there. It's got to be whenever this came out, 93 or whatever. They have 3 of them, half price, because no one's buying them, and I didn't buy any of them.
We had a store here in Kansas called Hastings, and they were this was in Lawrence when I was still in grad school. So they were a books, videos, and music media store. And the 2 that I got were from there, and they were like 90% off because they'd been marked down.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Wow.
Any of you BattleTech people, you should be raiding Barnes and Nobles now because they have a lot of those miniature packs. When they don't sell, they knock them down to $15 from like 40 or whatever they are. So I would start raiding Barnes and Nobles in your travels. Anyone who's into BattleTech right now, if you want some miniatures.
Cool.
So just a little heads up. All right, so keep on the Borderlands. Probably all of us have run this more times than any other published module. If we run modules,
it's probably one of the most known D&D modules of all time. Probably even up there with Tomb of Horrors. It's probably more played than anybody else because it's kind of a normal module. It's not something that kills everything on site, so to speak. Yeah.
Well, and it came in the basic sets in the late 70s before and was it included in the Mold Dice set? I forget.
No, it was one of the sets.
Holmes, second Holmes.
Yeah. It was not in the Menser that we used.
No, it was in Holmes. And it was in there in Search of the Unknown was in
the later printings.
Yes, in printing 3, I think.
The Geos, then B1, then B2. Right. But I didn't remember if it was included in the Mold Vase also offhand. So
I do not believe it was in the Mold Vase, and I don't remember what was in the Mold Vase. Was Palace of the Silver Princess in?
No, I don't think so. Here, I'll look.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And originally, it didn't have a name. It didn't have a place. It was just a module set in its own little universe, so to speak, a little microcosm.
So, where do you place this now?
Well, when the return came, it was named Kendall Keep.
Right.
And it was it was suggested to be placed in Yeomanry.
Right.
So I placed it in Yeomanry. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I had help from the Living Greyhawk people because they made a really one of the best maps that came out of the Living Greyhawk campaign. I'm not sure off the top of my head who did it, but it was a great map of Yeomanry that is the base for my map, so to speak. And Kendall Keep is there just north of Darky Gate at the southwestern corner of Yeomanry, only a few miles away from Slerotin's tunnel from the north entry, because that's where Dark Gate is, that the town that sprung up because there were so many adventurers who wanted to go to explore the Slerotin's tunnel. So Dark Gate became like an adventure starting point, like that camp up on Mount Everest, close to base camp, so to speak. It's I imagine that Dark Gate is that kind of provisional town out of nowhere because there were so many adventurers, so it was kind of good business to sell things and take care of them and start an inn so they can recover and rest and stuff like that. So Kendall Keep is just another 20 miles north of there. That's where it is on the border of between Yeomanry and the Crystal Mist in the foothills.
So for me,
so just to clarify on the rule set, so I did look it up on the Assayum, and Keep on the Borderlands was included in the Moldvay printing.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
Of the basic set. So that's part of why it was so ubiquitous, was that there were so many, hundreds of thousands of those printed, literally. I think Keep was one of maybe the module that was printed the most, if I remember the numbers right. It might have been like 1.5 million printed or something crazy like that over the years.
XT, I'm not sure why they recommended the Yeomanry. It's out of the way.
That was my next question. Do you guys, is that a good place to actually put it or not?
Pre-war. this is where I hadn't shown.
Well, the keep have probably been there for a long time, long before the war, so to speak. So, and comes with the history. But the adventure doesn't really tell us the history of the keep much. Right. It's more like the situation that is interesting.
Cool. Adventure. That's cool, B-Town. I like the shield lands pre-war, and I'm gonna tell you, it says on the borderlands. Well, I always saw the shield lands as on the borderlands with the Bandit Kingdoms and Horn Society, and there's gonna be humanoids running around up here. I never put it on the map because there was no need to back then, right? And we're talking like 80s, mid 80s. At this point, so I put it up here in
that's another good. I can think somewhere along the Retensa, up Los Forge, or somewhere up there would work too. Yeah, and also on the eastern side too, up in the near the Tangles or up there. So
I think I've heard Rotic before, haven't I? On that.
That's for B1.
That's B1. Okay, that's B1.
Yeah. So the first printing of B1 had information in it that said, let's see. It said, in the mythical world of GREYHAWK, available from TSR, the stronghold can be considered within any one of the following lands: the Barony of Ratic, the Duchy of Ten, or the Theocracy of the Pale. And that was only in the first printing.
And then they took it out.
B1, and then they took it out.
Wow.
Because they were starting to build the known world at that point for the basic campaign worlds.
Right, because this is pre-GREYHAWK. This is 79.
Right.
I think Keeping the Borderlands is 79 as well, isn't it? Or is it 80?
Yeah, 78.
Oh, it's 80.
Keep was a little later.
Yeah, Keep's 80. So whether Keep came out before, well, they're starting to put Keep in the Mulvey. I'm sorry, in the oh my god, my brain just Holmes Basics. So in the 80s. So I guess the first two years, right? The first couple of them didn't have even Keep B1 in it, correct? The first Holmes Basics, Alan, right?
Yeah, the Holmes Basics started out with the Geomorphs.
Oh, that's right.
And then they did B1, and then they did B2 eventually. Let's see what it says here.
That's cool. Yeah, and it's just some ideas.
It looks like it was B2 was in 80, B1 was 78 in November.
Guerrilla spelling. There you go. So, okay. That gives you some idea. A place Borderlands would be, and it depends on time frame too. If you're running it, hey Troy, if you're running it past wars, then you got to find a spot. Like Rotic makes sense because, as Mike Saxton says, because Bone March is overtaken, so that makes sense for that time frame.
Yeah, and like anywhere bordering the Wild Coast or any of the kind of the failed states in GREYHAWK where you need that additional kind of protection or point of strength presence to project from is great.
Yeah, anywhere in Bone March, near Bone March, somewhere up there would work too. Yeah,
absolutely.
I could see the Great Kingdom building some of the keeps like that.
Yeah, meaning we have
defense
keeps.
against the Iron League.
Exactly. We have keeps up there, meaning we have a whole bunch of keeps. So
don't steal Dale's Highlander.
No,
castles.
but I mean, you have one of these. If you need a location for one of them up in the Tessar Uplands, that would work too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's some options for that, and it's just like that's probably the number one.
Yeah, the module is bland. Oh, sorry.
No, go for it, Anna.
I was saying the module is bland. It doesn't say much about the climate. It doesn't say so. Don't put it in the polar regions or down in the tropics, and I think you're fine. So
that would work too, Sam.
That sense,
Yeah, there's a couple interesting things about the little wilderness map environment though that's in B2. So I think we've talked about this before. Maybe I've mentioned it, but there's a guy online named Timrod who did some research about the B2 wilderness map, the dungeons of T1, and the sample dungeon in the Dungeon Master's Guide, and they kind of interconnect in terms of all being developed around the same time. And Gary mentions in the Dungeon Master's Guide that there should be, according to what he had thought was in the book, and I asked him about this years later, and he's like, well, I never realized they weren't put in there. They didn't make it into the final product, but there was supposed to be a village map, so there's supposed to be a village, a sample dungeon, and a wilderness map in the DMG sample adventure area.
Oh, the sample dungeon where the ghoul paralyzes the gnome and
exactly.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So when you read the descriptions, the description of the area around the sample dungeon lines up nicely with the descriptions of the wilderness environment in B2. And then some of that lines up with some of the areas around the moat house, which is kind of an interesting little interconnection historically, because they were all kind of being published right around the same time. So that's fun.
Well, that's interesting then to think of where you would put the Keep on the Borderlands near Hamlet, because the problem here is that out of all the places developed during Living Greyhawk, this is the biggest mess out of them all, right, Anna? I mean, let me rephrase that. It's got the most places.
Well, it's kind of overburdened, and the other reason for the mess is that it's the first area I did. I was less. I simply put things in there that was mentioned here and there on the internet and wherever, so to speak. So that area has some problems, but I kept it because no one told me to remove it, so that's why I kept it. But some of these areas,
you've got Osberg and the funky villages that are mentioned in there. That's awesome.
Exactly, because they were the early days. That I did that before the Living Greyhawk area. I mean, that was done in the 90s, and then the Living Greyhawk, and I read these afterwards and added that stuff too. So these were things mentioned on Cannon Fire and on the early websites where people put things on, and AOL forums and stuff like that. So that was a place. So a lot of this stuff comes from people's campaigns and stuff they talked about, and I just put it on there. So
yeah, Sam, I did run Keep on the Borderlands before Hamlet once because I wanted to. I bumped up the Hamlet a little bit.
And one question to you module runner guys, meaning how many times can you run a module again? How much do you tweak, and can you just take the same idea and run it again?
You ready for this? I rarely show this. Anna, you're forcing me to show something. I'm not proud.
I didn't intend to.
Hopefully I won't crash stream. Eventually,
you have a log with little hash marks.
Well,
meaning
I'm only going to go back to 20. I'm only going to go back to 2023s, because this one's in PDF. You'll see. Let's take a look early on at my adventures here. Look at all the numbers. That's the number of running. Citadel by the Sea got 4 early on. Yeah, as you can see, 5 Citadel by the Seas.
That's
right.
Cheating.
That's not cheating. It's like different groups, different players, different groups. You know,
and you can reskin it.
Yeah, reskinned, run around. But let's see. Let me see how many. Look, there's even Dragonlance ones in there.
It's be smart. Smart about it. Yep.
You know, you're still figuring out what you're doing as a DM back here, and like, what year is this? These are Temple of Elemental Evil finished in '87. Yeah, and
yeah, well, TOE is 85, I think.
Yeah, we finised it in '87.
You finished it in '87. Oh, I see.
Yeah, we finished
I can
it
see
in '87.
That taking a
while.
while.
There you go, and that's
a cool list. Yeah.
I don't even see Keep on the Borderlands in here. I know I did Return. I may have done it before I even started logging modules in '78 and '79 before we were running the Order of Violet campaign. Bone Hill's a lot. We reskinned Bone Hill many times. We'll talk about that. So, all right, there you go.
Yep.
So that's in the adventure log.
So one other thing about B2's wilderness environment. So one of the OSR fan designers out there who has been active on Dragon's Foot and some of the other old school boards is a guy by the name of Jeffrey McKinney. And he designed a expansion of the B2 wilderness, doing it on graph paper instead of hex paper, because that's what it's on in the model. So he called it Mike's World, and that's his sort of, he has a Mike's Dungeon, which is sort of his theme, because it was, he published them around the time Stranger Things was becoming popular. And then he did a Mike's World, and it's called the Forsaken Wilderness Beyond. And so it's he added 12, I think he made the B2 map one of 12 sheets. So we added 11 more sheets of graph paper around it to build out further to the north and the east, away from the Keep on the Borderlands and the environs depicted in there. And you can actually see it. You can see the whole book as a preview up on drive-through if it's something that you really liked that environment. You got some weird things.
If you get a chance, link it in chat so people can see it.
I will do that.
That would be cool. always looking for people are always looking for assistance to advance on existing things, and that's another thing. If you're looking for, and I guess from this point here, we should go to the other classic that gets run 1,000 times, right? Oh my gosh, I bet you I didn't bring it. I didn't bring that one. It's on my wall of fame, and I didn't leave my other copy. Let me just double check it maybe here. No, I don't have it, and that's Hamlet, right? T1. So I always felt though with Hamlet, it felt wrong moving it.
Oh yeah, you can't move Hamlet. No.
No. But what if you renamed it something else?
No, you can't use the same map. You can't have the same. Meaning, Bern and Rufus doesn't. They only live in one spot.
It's a little more work to detangle it.
Yeah, then you have to reskin it. Yeah, you can't use the map. So just come up with another village and name it something else and have other critters there. So yeah.
Yeah, see, John's run it 10 times roughly. I mean, we've all.
But you can have the same. You can have different or same players coming back to Hamlet over and over again to check the mode house or go to the temple and make sure that nothing has come back to creep in and stuff like that. I've done that many times in through the years.
Let's go back here and see if I can find this. I doubt it's probably in the 400s.
Hey, Houston. Yes, hello.
This is a problem when these discussions can go in any different direction, and I just don't know where we're gonna go. So here, let me. It would be better. I'm not thinking straight here. Let me go here and type Hamlet and HOMM. That'd be. Oh, there we go. Look at that. It found it. All right. So notice this is my reboot of the Temple of Mental Evil, and this is on the 660s. And then look at all the different adventures. Because Hamlet, if you just run the mode house, you're missing out on a lot of other subplots that are going on in the town. Right? There's so much going on there that
there's so much in Hamlet. Yeah. That's the great thing about Hamlet, actually, is that it really involves you in the region and in the wider machinations of however you're setting up the Temple of Elemental Evil. Because if you're doing it from T1 and didn't have T1 through 4, you had to make it all up.
Yep.
Yeah,
and Jay, have you ever run Return to the Temple of Elemental Evil, or did you just discard it outright, saying this is
I don't have
dominant? Oh, good. Yep, that you answered my question. So good.
You don't think that's in this pile here? It's not. It's so.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry if Monty Cook's insulted. I have no idea how that's in the top 30 of all-time adventures. No idea. So, Monty Cook's done much better work than Return to the Temple.
Oh yeah, Tolus is great. Yeah.
Yeah. So exactly, John. You've never heard of it either. Thank you. So with Hamlet, and I think I'm biased, and we all, and Alan, I bet you're biased too. Wherever you started, your first group of characters, there's a love for them, right? And you're like, oh my gosh. And so when we started adventuring back in the day, and we're young, and we're like, let's have our characters, our first characters. We were at the Battle of Emerald Meadows. We're like 16, 17-year-old kids, and maybe we're just squires.
When I went to Hamlet the first time, and it was wonderful.
Yeah. So this is pre-Hamlet. So in our timeline, which is like 569 or 560, whenever it happened, 567, right? Was the Hamlet was Emerald Meadows. Whenever that happened,
569, I think, something like that.
So we were in the battle, and then a couple of years later, after training and all, then we started in Hamlet with the group, our very first group of adventures. And here, this is right where I believe it's here. I always forget which side of the river it takes place on, but
it's north of between Hamlet and Penwick. North,
right,
between Hamlet and Penwick.
But this is a triple run here. Is it on this side, or this side?
No, it's straight between.
So
there is a small river that goes west.
That's the Emeralds Run. Is it south of Emeralds Run, north of Emeralds Run?
That one I'm not sure. I think it's north.
It's contradictory.
I think the good ones are the northern side.
Yeah, and just a question.
The evil ones on the bad side. But why they need to go to Hamlet, I'm not sure. So yeah. But Joe Block and Alan, you can.
What's up, Greg?
You guys can answer that better than me.
Its way, Greg.
I'm not an expert on the nuances of that. We've had some really in-depth discussions about the location of the battle on Knights and Dave's Ale House, and
cool.
Yeah.
Folks have recreated it in chainmail, and they're like, oh well, if you take and break down the information this way, following Paul Stormberg's way on Dragon's Foot, it posits this, but that's wrong because of that, and this is the way it should be instead. And it's just like
that reverse keyholing it in somewhere sometimes just doesn't work.
Joe blocked it.
And Luke Gygax taught, believe it or not, is the one that said this. Every story is from someone's perspective. So if it's a little off, it's okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
and Joe Block had a video that he broke it up, like broke down the information and presented it really well. And a few months ago. Yeah.
So Alan.
Yeah, he was going to run it. He was going to run some chainmail events. I think I don't remember. It was Emerald Meadows or something else at GaryCon.
Well, they did the Temple. Remember, you saw the Temple Elemental Evil setup they had.
That was Paul's. Yeah,
that thing was too big.
That was awesome. It was so big it wouldn't fit on your table.
Doug Waltman's manufacturer with some help from Bill Sylvie and Kevin and other folks, but it was a really well put together. Yeah, I put a bunch of pictures up on my.
Sam knows his stuff there, dude. So, Alan, your first characters, you got to remember. You don't?
No recollection whatsoever.
Oh my gosh.
So when I first started playing, I was learning from a guy down the street when we had moved into a new neighborhood in '77, and we sort of played D&D, but sort of kind of played a D&D mashed up with his own vibe plus Heritage's old paint and play sets like Dungeon Dwellers and Caverns of Doom. And we played with little electromatic football players that painted up.
The ones where you had to put the little prickly things on the bottom so they turn on that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So we painted those things up as characters, and we put toothpicks or like paper clips on them to be swords and stuff.
It's better than an army, man.
I didn't actually learn how to play D&D for real until I borrowed our basic set from the school library. And then I bought the books in '80 when they all came, when they were being printed then.
Yeah.
I mean, if we talk, it's just.
Well, I had no recollection of characters for the first 3-5 years I played.
I remember the first 5 or 6 sessions we played. I probably had like 10 characters, and they all died so quickly. I can't remember them. I don't think I even had names on them. But then I had an elven fighter thief that made it to second leveled up. If it was leveled up for the first time, and then I played for like 6 months. We played every couple of times a week or something like that, or 3 or 4 times a week, and like you do when you're 15 and have all the time in the world for some reason, and
even in college.
and so that was the first character I leveled up, and I probably had a dozen characters at least before then. So that was the first one I remember having. I forgot the name, but it's the first character I remember because I made a crude little sketch on the character sheet, and I remember because it leveled up was such a huge thing, and I was so jealous because we had one player who made a character that made it to 4th level, and the DM was so cruel that he was an awesome DM, but he slaughtered us relentlessly, mercilessly all the time. So
I love how he's an awesome DM, but we all died every time.
We died. It was simply about everything was Tomb of Horrors, so to speak. So we always died, but it was no. And I leveled up once. I was like, yes.
So for us, we were allowed as player characters, and we'd have a limit. But we were remember all the listing of all the characters in Rogues Gallery. You were allowed to recruit those, except the one that had all. You know how one of them all had all 18 stats and everything on that list. You couldn't recruit that one, but you could recruit any character in there and then convert them into an NPC, like a henchman. So yeah, that's how Monty Hall we were back in the day. But it was fun. I mean, we didn't know what we were doing.
Yes, same here. We didn't know.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, let's just do a little sneak peek at the map. So you maybe showed it already. So
I have.
Yeah,
and I want to go to the one that's going to be controversial, very controversial for me.
Okay.
But and we'll go to the map too here. So let me bring that up over here, and then whoops, wrong button. I cut it off quickly. There we go. So so let me go to here, and then where's the map here?
I think we used crits back from early days. 20 was max damage or double damage, and 2020 was kill.
There it is.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah. So we had 20 and then roll 20 again, and you killed it. So yeah. And that worked on monsters. Did it to us too?
World,
so yeah.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was
covered.
brutal. Yeah.
I covered it. So all right. Lens originals, right?
Oh yes.
I ain't going out to that island in my campaign. It's on the wrong side of the map. There's no reason for my characters to go out there. How the hell are they going to get out there?
No,
Sorry,
but you
Len.
can just start new characters there.
No.
Okay.
Because then they're not leaving, right? And I got to do an entire Restford Isle campaign, and it's not an Order of Eula campaign.
We can just run the adventures and be done with it.
That's what we did. We ran the adventures in other places.
Okay.
So I know that's blasphemous.
That goes against my philosophy.
Alan, your thoughts?
I think modules are modular. You move them around.
Thank you.
Okay, that's much more flexible than me. So yeah.
You know, the great thing about lens modules, because they're relatively small in scope.
Yes.
In terms of the area covered, so you can plug and play them in kind of anywhere.
Yes.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I was facetious. Yeah, because they don't, they contain no backstory to speak of. So.
Yeah, how about using Restford for Salt Marsh using Expanded U series? So, Sam, I have placed it often not on an island, and I've placed Restford multiple times. I've used the southern coast of Keeland and the Principality of Ulick, where there's nothing between Gryrax and Gradsel. I've used that place so many times. I've also used this area, like, because there's nothing there. Got away from having to map it down, but here from our Order of Ulick, well, there's nothing at all down here. Nothing. So there's Gryrax, and look, it's blank.
And I think that's a good point, Jay, because that's an area that should have lots of it. I mean, it has great climate. People that live there for thousands of years, meaning Keoland and stuff, have existed for longer than anything else. There should be tons of stuff down there.
Absolutely, but I'm going to show a big one. It's not. Yeah, I'm going to get a lot of heat for. But two people in the world really love it. What I've done with it. So we'll get to that near the end. So here you go. Here are Len's 3 originals, and then we have 4 more for Len. Right, all over. Two from the group, which is so wonderful. This one, Deep Dwarven Delve, is now available in reprint, but this is an original, by the way. This came out of this, and the collector's edition. He told us the story how they hacked this thing apart, and he went berserk. We heard that story once on a Gabbin show. It was your Gabbin Legends and Lore.
But then he recanted later.
A little bit of it.
Yeah, he did. No, because he found the manuscript before he passed, and then he posted up on Facebook saying it was actually about 95% there. They had changed parts of the ending the most, it sounded like.
Right, with the demon, with the Balsable, right at the end. Yeah. Sorry to give it away, everyone.
Yeah.
But it's and Len was very touchy on that. But I'll say this.
I can.
This one here is on the top 30 adventures of all time article. It's number 30, 29 or 30. Assassin's Knot. Okay, it's the first murder mystery, right, for adventures for the most part. And the second, this Bowen Hill's on my wall of fame downstairs because it deserves to be there. And you all know how many times.
Awesome.
You know how many times I've used Skelters and Zombiers out of here, and all sorts of other
Ghoul Sturges. Yeah.
And the mixing of potions really first appears here.
Yes, yeah.
He
has the miscibility tables.
Yeah, where he does it ahead of time, and he has some really bizarre effects on those. So, are these joined? Yes, they are very. These two are very joined. The storyline continues from one to another. Yes, Greg, they are. They are. Yep. So, this is a tough module to run.
Yeah, it's like 5 modules now. It's
no, it's 7.
There's 7. Okay, yeah.
There's the L1 through 3 originals. Then there's L4 and L5 on Dragons.
And then
Len finished himself.
5 that the group have done, if you count the Mind one, and then 4 more. There's 10. So there's 10
and more coming.
But some of them are not set on Lendor Isle.
That's
set
true.
other place.
Yeah. Hey, that's all good.
I was thinking they are done by Len, but they don't belong in the same series. So
this is,
unless you move it there.
This is L1.
That's true. Yeah.
Greg, you don't have Assassin's Knot? You don't have now you know when you win, I'll give it. It gets you that. I think I have it in the pile here. L2. Yeah.
So Jay, can you hold up the L3 copy again real quick?
Oh yeah.
This is a useful PSA for people.
Let me let me go back here and whoops. Thanks, it's a casualty.
So when people are trying to buy the original version of the module, if you're not sure if it's been taken out of exactly, that's the key, is that it's blank on the back, because the reprints have a barcode on the back.
Yeah, completely blank.
So if it's completely blank, then you know it came out of an original collector's edition and it's an original printing of it.
Too,
otherwise it's a reprint
with that logo on it.
Oh, I think that logo's on.
That logo's on the reprint. Oh,
yeah. I think the only thing that's different is they put the
it's blank completely.
The barcode on the back cover.
So
so that's your important differentiator for those. If somebody's trying to, complete a set or wants an original for whatever reason.
And you get 3 returns. There's a bunch of returns in here. There's also this, which comes from Holmes Basic, the original rule book from Holmes Basic. Really cool.
And then the history book is really good too.
And then I have some.
Although it's a reprint. It's a reprint mostly of the content from a 20th anniversary TSR history book that was given to employees.
Right.
They repurposed for this, and they added some updates to it for 5 more years.
I've never seen one of them come for sale.
I've seen them come for sale, but I haven't ever been able to buy one.
Well, have to remortgage your house to do that, or
exactly.
They probably are for crazy amount here. It's here somewhere.
They do. Yeah, everything's going for crazy amounts these days.
Oh yes,
it's nuts.
All right, so that's my suggestion on the L's. Put them wherever you want them. I've put them in Keeland for Urendi and Shieldlands. Because it's really like Restonford and the area around Bone Hill is a normal place.
Yeah,
right?
but we should mention that the first, the first 5 modules are set on Lendor Isle. And then we have the one that is Leakeel, that is the one of the last ones that is set in Ratic. Yeah, that's the original locations that Len intended them to be.
And then the 4 that would have just come out, they're all over the place, right? Or are they generics? Like,
I'm not sure exactly where they are set. So
the last 2 from Gary Con, and there's 2 more from Gary Con.
Yeah, the minor threat. One of them is set on that little island south of Laurel Tarma, or where Laurel Tarma is. It's on a lighthouse on that island. That's where one of them is set.
And the lighthouse is that lighthouse, LA1, isn't it? From previous? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it's set. Yeah, it's set there, and the other ones, I'm not sure where they are set, to be honest.
Well, one of them was set up in Ratic, I think there were 2 in Ratic.
Yeah,
because I played the one that Josh ran at Virtual GREYHAWK Con 2 years ago.
Yep.
In Ratic for that one.
And
I added the place up there, so Leakeel is added to. It's north of Marner, is a little town up there.
Do you have Cavericks Cove on here now too?
Yep. It's up there.
I got my version. I need to get your updated version of all my changes.
Yeah.
Cavericks Cove is Carlos's adventure. So
I think Cavericks Cove is between Devon Meek and Padrick.
Let me go here and see if it's here.
It's up there. So I added those places up there.
It may be not on here yet. I got to move it out of the way. It's one problem here. No, I don't think it's here. Here's Ratic. Yeah, they're not added in to the Cannon Fire page yet.
Yeah, so the latest version of the map has Leakeel that is near the Whisper Leaf Forest. I'm not sure if Len named that. I think he named that in the module. I'm not sure because I don't think it had a name before. And then Cavericks Cove is from Carlos Adventures. That is put there.
Curtis has got a good question about L3. It's a deep dwarven delve, and dwarves on those isles. I didn't, where they come from. That's a good question, Curtis.
Tunnel, man.
Long tunnel.
Yeah, it's one of those. I guess dwarves are everywhere that there's.
I have some theories on that. I will come back to that in the announcements at the end. I have some theories that I'm working on, so I will come back to that.
Yeah, there's Coke. Was there a Coke machine in Barrier Peaks? There was a vending machine, but I don't think that was actually Coke. I think it was just a generic vending machine.
They weren't sponsored, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of that. We got a lot of people. Real quick, 10 seconds, 20 here. So just note, new sponsorship. I got them up here. So, and their first giveaway is tomorrow night. and that is the print goes ever on games. So a $50 gift certificate to their store is for tomorrow night, everyone. So, and they'll be doing it once a month, and we're getting all their sculpts, and we're gonna be running a lot for my 24-hour stream. We're gonna be using a lot of new prints that they're sending to Build a Master Crafter, and I'm going to chain them into my basement. Yeah, just kidding, but we'll have them all ready for July. So the print goes ever on. They have some great stuff. So just note, new sponsor. Yeah,
very cool.
Great guy too. We had a nice long meeting with him. Max is from Poland. The company is actually located in Poland, but has a lot of followers in the U.S. So there you go. Sorry, Fat Finger, no problem. I remember that. Ran Barrier Peaks with my friends. So another world. Barrier Peaks is one of those that where it's placed on the map is I wouldn't change it, but I guess you put in any mountain range you'd want. Let's bring this right about that. So Alan, how many times you run Barrier Peaks?
I don't know, 2 or 3.
Well, yeah, it's maybe more 4. Than Gary Hooligan.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, 2 or 3, something like that.
More than me. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I probably also haven't run it in since the 80s.
I gotta find it here. There we go. So there it is. Yeah, S3 Expedition of Barrier Peaks. So I'm at we're at GaryCon, and Andrew Scott Perry. This is when Andrew was feeling very, what's the word? He wanted to share a lot of memories because Jim Ward, we all had found out at Legends Lord
that
Jim
was
Ward
the day
passed.
after he passed.
So Anna, were you there when he sat down with me and he talked about Barrier Peaks for 2 hours?
Yeah.
And talked about how it definitely is a pod or piece of Starship Warden sent off and landed, and that was the whole, that's what he said that had happened with it. He also, and I believe it was him that said that, or was it Ed, told us about Len running a secret level in Barrier Peaks that he did it.
Oh yeah, we talked about this last time.
Yeah, and we still haven't located it. So anyone, if you're out there, we want to find that at Gen Con Len's running of a Barrier Peaks level. Because that would be a golden one for next year to do.
Yeah, and even if you don't have the material, just being part as a player or something would have been give us a little bit of a sneak peek.
Build it off something.
Yeah,
right.
So just note that would be so wonderful.
Now Barrier Peaks is another one of those interesting ones because it, along with Tomb of Horrors and Sajkanth, were originally set on the old Grey Kingdom map before GREYHAWK got published. So the backgrounds from the Origins versions of the tournaments have that, and the WinterCon in the case of Sajkanth, they have that different geography. So you're already dealing with alternate locations in terms of how they got published in the folio, because they moved the locations around already, transposing, them from the old map to the new Darlene maps, which is
because that's we have to remember that there is there is in that sense 3 versions in one way. You have the old Castle and Crusade Society with the Grey Kingdom that has partial GREYHAWK, and then it's Gary's and Rob's personal campaign with Castle GREYHAWK and stuff they ran, and then we have published GREYHAWK. Then so there's different forks that they have taken inspiration from each other, and things are cross-pollinated and stuff. So
and then you've got Rob's separate world,
exactly, where
Calibran, where WG5 Modern Chaos Fantastic Adventure and Mar Castle was originally set and stuff too. Yeah.
So much was mishmashed together, right? Was brought together to create GREYHAWK, because you had part of Harold Johnson's, you had part of Alan Hammock's, right? Areas,
and we have a little bit of Blackmore homage into it as well. So there's the published GREYHAWK has a lot of different roots that have influenced it or brought pieces in.
And the Duchy of 10 came from the Blackmore campaign.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, absolutely. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
it's spelled differently though, right? They added an H or took an H off, or
I think the H were added when it moved into published GREYHAWK. Yeah.
I cannot find what I'm looking for, and it's driving me crazy.
So everyone who comes
Barrier
in,
Peaks, I think, could really go. Sorry.
No, please.
I was gonna say, it really could go anywhere too, kind of like we were saying earlier. But it grew out of the machine level from Castle Greyhawk. So you could also, in addition to kind of transposing its location, you could also just make it a dungeon level that's accessed from Castle Greyhawk or one of your own dungeons or whatever too, without it being a whole separate spaceship and things. It could just be a dungeon that's science dungeon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just going to say, people that come into Greyhawk now and wonder where the heck this comes from, realize that it was kind of a difficult genesis. Greyhawk came to be over 20 years from different sources, and it kind of emerged slowly from the kind of multifaceted birth, so to speak. So it was not that easily, and that's why there are contradictions, there are different versions, and so on and so forth, and different.
A sage's delight.
Exactly, and also different DMs, different creators, and you can emphasize on different parts of the story, meaning some people are crazy about what Gary wrote and it's his version and the published version, and the rest they don't care about, and others might say, oh, I want to go back and I want Arneson's stuff in there more and stuff like that. So you can emphasize on different things, and therefore you can come up with competing ways of interpret this. So yeah.
All right, so Alan, you got one you want to discuss? Because I've brought out a whole bunch. So what do you think? Or multiple, or a series.
I mean, I think you can kind of move things around kind of in general. So from my point of view, I'm not married to location for most of it. But there were a couple sort of ideas I had about different kinds of locations, maybe that might be worth talking a little bit about.
Please.
So, so we talk about moving things around kind of on Earth, on the map, putting them in different sites and stuff for our personal campaigns. But we've also got options for ways to look at not just a different location, but a different time, the idea of like an arcane age Greyhawk, going back in time, or before the wars, after the wars, or, back, different publishing eras, and moving modules around and how they change based on that is kind of interesting, I think.
Yep.
And then we've also got demi-planes.
Yes.
So,
yes.
We've got our, our fading lands and our EX1 and 2, the Alice in Wonderland modules. We've got the King Kong Adventure WG6. Rob did his conclusion to the Maze of Zane modules, which are set in the Great Kingdom in Roxas. But the fourth one, 8 Kings, is a demi-planar adventure.
Oh, wow.
Which is accessed from Ivic's Tower. So demi-planes, kind of are another way to kind of think about different locations. And again, if you decide that maybe Barrier Peaks is too weird to make it be in your Greyhawk as is, you could make it a demi-plane, and then it's walled off and sealed away, and blasters don't work outside of its little demi-planar logic, the way gunpowder doesn't work in most of Greyhawk. That kind of thing. So I think that's sort of another aspect of ways to think about location a little differently for adventures and things.
Excuse me.
We got a good question about Vecna and his empire and stuff, and let's zoom in on Keelland. And I placed on the map and the rotted tower that are locations from the history of Vecna that are still there, so you can kind of, if you poke around in the countryside, you can still find them even if they're 2,000 years old. You can, the remnants are still there. Maybe you have a too old version of the map, but it should be there. So the rotted tower is out in the and
the Rushmore.
Just below the OO and Moors.
So and the reason I put Fleet there, because we knew the general direction or area from various sources that it was in the center of Keelland and stuff, and I put it between the Rushmores and the Lort Mills as a way to kind of seal the deal. Because if you had the center, that was the point where you can dominate as much of the area as possible, so to speak. So it was a strategic location in the Sheldamar Valley. That's why I put it there. And not because Fleeth was probably not that important to begin with, but Vecna made it important. He chose it because to expand on it, because he came from there, but also because he saw the strategic location, so to speak. And the Rotted Tower was probably his hideaway that he can use for his personal little hideaway in a location that is hard to get to, but still within reasonable distance from Fleeth. And those are the two locations. So the general area they're in, it's not mine, but I kind of I put them down exactly at those spots. So that's where I chose from reading as much as possible of the sources. So yeah.
And note the following: there is a lot of back retconning with Vecna stories.
Oh yes, definitely.
So, and we did Vecna all last week when we had Gary Julian and Sam on with that history book. And if you don't have the Vecna book and you weren't on last week, Sam, can you please link it again? So there's a download for
I started reading it. It's really great stuff. I didn't get a chance to finish reading it yet. I got about halfway through.
If you didn't get it last
really
week,
fun stuff.
Sam Wise will can put it in, and you can download it, and it's a free. It's really good. Much better than anything that anyone else has ever done. That's all I won't slam anyone else.
It's so good. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So just to note that and that there's a lot of there's some creative license there. Like Koss is a halfling. I don't know if Sam did that. We don't know if we all agree with that, but who cares?
But that's part of the
fun. A midget human.
Mm-hmm.
Halflings were very evil in Phineas Fingers. So,
they were. Yes,
there's precedent.
Oh my gosh, yes. Mm-hmm. The best in Phineas Fingers is was it Board Flack or I always get them all confused when he had the wand of automatic missile fire. He brings up the Tommy gun
and the bazooka for the fireballs.
Hold mine, Foster Grants. Oh, I missed those cartoons. I missed them in Wormy. So. Yeah, we're doing good. We're talking classic adventures, where to play, and some changes on placement, and
there's one other we need to mention, because now we have an influx of new Greyhawk gamers. They need to know where the Tomb of Horrors is set as well, where that one is, because that's another one of these mega adventures that have.
Let me bring the street back. It's a shame that Tano's not around anymore, because this is his wheelhouse.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Hopefully he's okay. All right, so here is Greyhawk City. All right, and we're going to go
in the middle of things.
The dreaded eastern side of the map.
And exactly, the dreaded eastern side. And then this is and then you go to the
way down here, vast swamp.
Yeah, exactly. That you have the vast swamp down there.
It's one of the most remote adventures you could possibly have.
Yep. Yeah. And this is an interesting area. I have a theory on my personal theory on this, depending on this area, and why Acerec chose it to begin with, so to speak, because he was one of the lieutenants of Vecna, that from the Vecna little comic booklet, I think that's where we connect Acerec. So they were part of that Flan hierarchy of people that became liches and learned those tricks, so to speak, and got the tools of power, so to speak, to turn themselves into liches. So my thinking is that there's probably a whole range of all that was kind of fashionable, and it was a way to become powerful. They invented lichdom. That one of many. Sewell invented them. It was a discovery, like nuclear weapons or something. It was something that you could discover and you can make use of. And the Flan discovered it. And we have a Acerec, we have Vecna, we have there's
Zalen, but he wasn't Flan.
Yeah, and we have several others. We have
we have Asperides, who the lying down one from D1 that Gary put in there too.
Yeah, and then we have up in we have hang on a second, Dalvier is another one that is from the same kind of, so to speak, old Flan that became liches and evil. And the one of my reason is that back then I had it that there was a warmer period too, and it was like this wasn't hidden away. There are mountains all around, and it was hidden away. So he probably moved over to this part of the map, so to speak, because he wanted to hide away. When Vecna turned big and powerful, for some reason he might have screwed up his relationship with Vecna. And if you're a top lieutenant, you need to flee and you need to set up shop far away. So
Right,
he
right.
chose one of the most remote locations that is hard to find. You
Swamps
don't
are the
go to
worst.
the vast swamp
Yeah,
by mistake because there's no rivers, no roads leading there or anything. It's very much a hidden away place where someone who's defected from a regime needs to hide out, so to speak. So that's my take. So my Acererak story will be that he did something to offend Vecna or something, and he needs to set up shop. And he also needed to create such a trap-rich environment because Vecna will probably want to come after him. So that also adds to the story of making the Tomb of Horrors. He needed that to defend himself or protect himself, so to speak.
Yeah, because he's got all those extra planar protections on the tomb too. If you start to, try and operate astrally or ethereally around there, demons start to attack you and stuff.
And he needed to protect himself against probably the most powerful creature in the Flanese. So he needed some really good protection. He probably didn't have an whole army with him. So he probably just had a small following or something. So not because liches normally have huge armies, but some of them do. Vecna did. So yeah, back in those days, Vecna did when he ran an empire. So yeah.
Let's do another.
So one of the other interesting things. Oh, sorry, Jack.
No, go for it. Go for it, Al. That's cool.
One of the other interesting things about S1 is it gives you alternate locations for where to put it in the module. Yeah. And those are different from the alternate locations that were published in the Origins tournament version of it as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Because the Origins ones were set up for the old Grey Kingdom map. So one of those locations is like out in the bay, that's in Grendet Bay, an island out there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And the Howling Hills hadn't been named yet, so there's not a Howling Hills location as an option. And stuff like that. So,
but they also tell on something else about these. Most of these modules have a history in themselves. They started out as a competition module or something that wasn't set in GREYHAWK or anywhere. It was run at a convention, and then they reworked it, added some extra stuff, and edit them, and then made some more art and stuff. And they turned into some of them. The best ones turned into published modules that were published by TSR, and then some of them were shoehorned or adapted into GREYHAWK. That was the standard setting at the time, so to speak.
But then some also started out and were played in the campaign and then run as tournaments
after the fact.
And went through the module publication process too. So
and
so
Homelet is sorry.
No, it's okay.
Homelet is a one of these examples that was written for and set in GREYHAWK, like Temple of Elemental Evil and stuff, because they have GREYHAWK content in them from the beginning, so to speak.
Tremoacon, Ghost Tower, they were tournaments.
Yes, and they don't have any GREYHAWk content to begin with. They have been added. Exactly. They've been written in. And White Plume Mountain is a perfect example that was written by I forgot who.
I don't know if that was that a tournament though. I don't think that one was.
No, he wrote it in order to get hired by TSR.
Right.
Okay,
so it was a best of all of Lawrence's special encounters in his dungeon, mega dungeon. And he kind of slapped him together. Well, he didn't slap him, but he put him together, and then
And I'll say, I think that's the best of all the returns in that box too. I love Return to White Plume Mountain. I think it's done. It's done well because you can it's almost like Horcruxed, Charybdis, and two of the characters in that adventure I ran, thought they were Charybdis because they were touching all those pieces of paper that he had his essence in. I thought it was great, and he got reborn at the end, and he's like 19 years old in my campaign now. The reborn Charybdis.
Charybdis is one of these. Characters that I think has a great potential as a master villain. I'm using him in my Shieldlands campaign, and he will hopefully, if we have a new set generation of designers at Wizard of the Coast who reads all the material, go through it, I'm sure that Charybdis might be picked up and be a master villain in 20 years or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised at all because
maybe less if we're lucky.
Yeah, exactly. Less so we might get a chance to see him, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if he's one of these that will be like Tasha was kind of found, the name was found, and then they did something. Charybdis has villain material written all over him, so to speak.
You mean has stealing possibility from him? They haven't really stolen him
I mean, he can go through generation. He can come haunting again, and there's a lot of stuff, so to speak. And there's some cool scenes that are almost like they're from like Star Wars, when you have someone killing a generation, and you have Eggworth, the druid that kills him and vanish or like perish in the battle and stuff like that. There's the artifacts involved and all sorts of stuff. So with a little bit of writing around it, you can make some really cool stuff from that.
So you're not going to get an A series reboot because they're staying away from slavery. It's that simple.
Yeah, this one I don't think has any real bad stuff like that. There's some evil gnomes that seems to pop up in almost every of these old. I don't know what the poor gnomes have done to be set to be the evil. They are the sidekick or the henchmen of the villains almost everywhere, so to speak.
They live a long time, so they're useful.
That's true, yeah. And people probably think so well of them that they can be bad in secret, so to speak.
Yeah, read the end of Return to White Plume, Will, and you'll see what I'm talking about. All right, I want to do an ode to someone that I know Alan had a great relationship with, and that is Janelle Jacquays, right?
Yes.
All right, so one of my Walls of Fame adventures is Dark Tower. Okay. So, it's so momentous and wonderful and just one of my favorites of all time.
Can you just do a 1 minute or an elevator pitch? What's the Dark Tower about?
So there's an ancient temple of Set, Sutek Set, however you want. It's buried.
Yep. It's
out of the way. It's almost like a locale that gets lost to time and people are just there, right? But they've all become
It's got that Ruins of Andril kind of vibe to it.
It does, absolutely.
Okay, yeah.
And it was one of Tim's favorite adventures to run against us because he loved just at one point, and the first time I played, I was so shocked. The entire town comes after you. Men, women, children, all of them. And there's nothing you can do about it. So I'm sorry to spoil, but the wonderful thing about Dark Tower is you can see the tip of the tower sticking out of the ground, the very tip. You got to go down 8 dungeon levels to go find the entrance and then go back up 8 dungeon levels in the tower.
Oh, that's cool.
It's really neat. And there's also, is it Mitra? There's another deity that's kind of warring off. And then there's this way to make Sons of Set, which are these mutants running about too as wandering monsters. It's really fantastic. So I'm like, Anna, I need to place this in somewhere that I've run. And it's in a remote area, so
it's
here it is.
in the middle of the Lort Mills.
Yeah, so it's in this area that is like Grand March, Keelan, Merge, and it's like out of the way off. Here it is. So here's my Dark Tower. There it is.
Yeah. I placed it in my world a little bit further up, and I think on the public map it's a little bit further up, and I probably need to adjust it a little bit again. I put it on the public 98 map. It's a little bit too high up in the white, so to speak, but there are some hidden valleys in the Lort Mills. That's where I put it, and I put it near the Haradra, or however you pronounce that.
Okay,
city
because I saw in yours there's another Dark Tower. Yeah, so,
exactly. So there is So I placed it up and hidden, and it needs to be adjusted. But the terrain there is terrible, so that needs to be.
Yeah, I really like it better. Here. There's a river. It would make sense. It's fertile. They can just live. And who's going? There's no trading going on up there. So it's like it's perfect for it in the game. And
but the reason that sorry,
no, keep going.
I was going to say the backstory that I'm not sure because it's not set originally in GREYHAWK. So there is no official backstory. The backstory I want to put in there is that Haradra was meaning Vecna. He ran the flan shop. This was Vecna's empire for some hundreds of years. But there was some flan who resisted Vecna. And they set up shop in the middle of the Lort Mills.
Okay.
And the Dark Tower is there. So there you have Nerul and the other ones. So turn the Dark Tower into a Nerul cult temple. And you can add a whole bunch of all the Urflan devil or their demon cults, so to speak. They set up shop there, and they were. A lot of Flan probably felt they were better because they were the devil, or the demon so to speak, rather than the new Vecna.
Right.
so to speak. So they set up shop in the Lort Mills to survive, so to speak.
That's
and
cool.
then after the Vecna Empire fell, they kind of abandoned the place up there and moved to other areas. That's my backstory for the Dark Tower and Haradra, so to speak. So how that came to be and why it's there. Haradra is
very cool.
I think it's from Earth Journal. I think the location. I think it's from an Earth Journal or some other fan creation that put up there, so to speak, and mentioned. And maybe Living GREYHAWK caught up on it. So I need to. I'm coming back to that one. But that's my backstory for how to weave in Dark Tower and Haradra into your GREYHAWK campaign, so to speak.
And note, all right, you can do Orcus and a roll. And Carlos has the same thing. Carlos has Greek gods in GREYHAWK, right? He has it in his adventures, how they're like dying off. I have no problem with Set or other evil deities making a foray.
Pick the one you like, so to speak, or name it the one and then run it. Yeah.
So
my heretical temple of Weejoss and Castle GREYHAWK level that I've run at GaryCon in North Texas and other conventions has one of the heresy variants is they worship a male form of Weejoss, and it's actually powered by Set.
Nice.
And it's serpent based, so that's why she really gets annoyed about it, because they're making her male and she doesn't like that. That's when the crusade got declared.
Now, second Jack Ways. I found it after all this time because I was getting these old modules. I don't even remember this. I knew it had 2 game systems. Shattered Statue. I actually
Dragon Quest.
Yes. Yeah. Dragon Quest. It's D&D and Dragon Quest both. I don't even remember. Do you have a Dragon Quest box set there, Alan?
I don't have one handy, but I have her other adventures that she did for there. So she did one called The Enchanted Wood.
Yeah, this is for both.
Ties back to that, as well as Savage Frontier and the Forgotten Realms.
You'll notice this is the only one I have of mine. It's valueless. It's falling apart because we ran the adventure. Look, I even have the old screen here. And got some characters in here. Let's see if you know any of these. Emerson Winchester III, the Force father, the one who goes bad, the fallen paladin, is in this adventure, along with a couple of Allens and stuff. And he was 6th level, so that's how long ago that was. So, yeah. But it says here inside, outside of, I don't know if I agree with this, but if you're going to place it in a game setting, it says outside of Cormyr and Forgotten Realms. But I if I recall correctly, I placed this as well in Northern Shieldlands pre-war, because that's when we ran. We ran it. It was well before. This is what, this got to be 87. 87. So this is well before From the Ashes, right? So this is From the Ashes 92, 93.
Yeah, because when TSR bought SPI in I don't know 83 or so, that's when they inherited Dragon Quest. That's when Tim Truman came on and started doing artwork for them, because he came in with the SBI acquisition. So it's like 82, 83, 84, somewhere in that zone. But it was before they did EX 1 to 2 for sure.
And I know that Janelle did this adventure. As you can see, I had when I was younger, no illusions of highlighting shit in the book too and making them even more or less valuable. So there you go.
I found Haradra comes from the depths of Haradra. It was a module in Shield from the Living GREYHAWK. So it comes with a bunch of side stuff and so on. And that's where I took the basis of my story is from that one. And I elaborated and put it in the time of Vecna. And it just said that it's the lost city of the Flam. That's all it says. But it has more names and stuff. So that module, if you can put together that module and what we know of Vecna today, and then you can make some really cool, and put Dark Tower in there, and I think you have a wonderful campaign destination where you can massage it together and tweak things and put some names in there and so on. Maybe it's an ancient lost place anyway, so you can tweak with
maybe Alan will have run something on this, and Alan will be better for this. But remember, we had Greg Gillespie on because he was at Page for his Dragon Slayer rulebook, and he did Barrow Maze. And then people were asking in chat where you'd place it. I don't think you know anything about Barrow Maze.
Nope.
Yeah. So how about you, Alan? You ever run any Greg stuff?
I haven't run it, but I have the old original Kickstarter version. I don't have a Barrow Maze complete when he expanded it and kind of added more to it.
Because he put it on that old board that came, right? The board for in the one game setting. That's what it's off of. The old hard board. What was the name of that? Someone, Alduin, you got to know. That came with a game back in the day, and that's the setting he used. Oh my God, someone in chat will know. Outdoor Survival. Yeah, the Outdoor Survival.
Oh, map. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah. Thank you. Yep. See, I knew you'd know.
Yeah. There's more to Harada. There's a bunch of Grand March Living Greyhawk adventures, including something about a Lich Queen. So there's plenty of stuff to go by there. So yeah,
more liches to play with.
Yeah,
wrong side of the map, Will. We don't play anything on that side of the map.
It kind of proves my story that there's more than one Flan Lich or more than two. There's a whole bunch of them, and so these you can dust off these Living Greyhawk adventures, the Dark Tower, and Vecna stories, and you can have a whole campaign against all Flan Liches, and now they can be demi liches and stuff, and it can be so much fun. Now you can have one on your side, and you can have others on against you. So
then you can have use the old Rolaids adventure, Lich Lords.
Yeah.
As part of that.
So, Soros, answer this question for me. The weather in on those maps for him. Hey, Kurt, fight of all liches. That would be awesome. Is it cold most of the time? Is it like tundra? Because I would say, man, if I'm thinking of this
Lord
north, Mills? Up here, Rovers of the Barrens, Northern Fellreave.
No, Lord Mills will be like the Alps or the southern.
I'm saying, for the Barrow Maze. Like, I'm saying up here. Who published Dark Tower? Judges Guild Death Ray originally. Then it was re-released by Goodman. Yeah, not Idea, Sunday. Sunday's too tropical. Sunday's way too tropical.
Yeah, Sunday. Then we're talking.
It's Elvish. It's all Elvish.
Yeah, then we're talking subtropical Mediterranean, or more like subtropical.
By Paul. It's Paul at that time, but Janelle Jack Ways. Yeah. Like I said, you can get it in a reprint. I thought I had it down here. I don't know where it is, but I got it cheap.
Yeah, so Goodman did the Kickstarter they purchased Janelle's core IP from Janelle before she died, and they did a Kickstarter for Dark Tower, which is in a slipcase set similar to what they did with TOEE when they did that one in the OAR series.
Cool.
So that's out now. That had just come out, I think, from a shipping point of view earlier in the year before GaryCon, because I think they were available for retail for the first time, I think, at GaryCon. I might be off on that. And then they're doing Caverns of Thracia as the next Janelle project.
Oh, that's awesome. Want to talk about
between that, they're doing another reprint of Grimtooth's Kickstarter for that, and then Caverns of Thracia is the next one after that.
That's fantastic. They don't have to doing those things. You have to worry about the WotC license,
right? Yeah, because they own it.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, I'm going to ask this question: where do we put these three? You're going to see someone's going to go a desert.
Hang on a second. Which we need to bigger. Which modules are we talking about?
Desert or Desolation series.
Oh, okay. I don't know much about them, so yeah.
Alan?
Anywhere you want. It's a desert.
Well, then we have the far west, the Bakunis Basin somewhere. But what's the story?
Yeah.
What's what they're about?
They're Tracy and Laura Hickman, and the ghost of it's a bunch of almost dungeon crawls, right?
But they don't have any Greyhawk real material in them.
No.
They're just generic. No. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So. But the image on the cover of, I forget which one it is, maybe I4, that has the one that looks like a catamaran sailing on the desert. Yeah. That one always I always that made me go Sea of Dust.
Okay.
And I was so happy when Gary did that in with the sand sailboats in the Sea of Dust novel.
Mm-hmm.
So you can put them near the what's it Laura? What's the one up there that's the land of that's not destroyed?
The dry steppes.
No, the land that's not destroyed. The Desor hanging out in Anna. That
right?
Here it is.
The Sunalon coast down below.
No, it's here. It's
that's Talmeta's stuff, so it might not be
Lona Car, right? Put up near Lona Car, right? couple of people have done work on, right? You put it up there. Because that actually is Soul City still alive there.
That would work. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. And any desert is the answer to that one. Yeah.
And we have lots of desert on the west. So yeah.
All right.
And there's a lot of adventures set in deserts. You know, or readily portable to desert.
Absolutely, and a lot of third-party ones. It's one of my favorite, but a little problematic for Greyhawk unless you want your soul to be pseudo-Egyptian. Yeah, true, all around. But you can always just say, you can always place it in there. Andrel's the same way, right? Andrel's very Egyptian too, isn't it? And I love running Runes of Andrel in Greyhawk.
Yeah.
So
yep.
Did I already
and
mention
you just
where
reskin
the
it?
Is?
Yeah. It fits in really nicely with the Andrel because it's kind of got this elemental focus. So it was published in Dragon 81, but it's got this nice elemental vibe to it. So it fits in really nicely with the kind of the Bacloonish vibe for that. If that's fits with your take on their culture and magic.
And you got plenty of open areas here, all paynims, all over dry steppes. You can place stuff everywhere. It's not going to affect anything because they're so open, right? Any of these desert adventures that you're running. So a question
you could slap it into the Bright Desert. You could put it in the Borderlands on the Rift Canyon. There's lots of possibilities.
There's a question about where the Lost City is, which is different than Dwellers of the Forbidden City, correct? Dwellers of the Forbidden City is over near the Ernst, isn't it? Where's this one?
No, the Forbidden City is the one that's over by Paliso Swamp.
Oh, geez.
Off in way down below Sunday.
Oh, is it really?
If
I'm
remembering right. Hipmonaland.
Is it?
We have one that is named Sausalito there because it was someone named it that. It was named this summer, but we also have one that is set in the Emedio, where.
So where's B4 the Lost City? Is that B4 or B5? I always get them confused.
Hang on a second.
B4.
B4. Yeah. Where would you place that?
That I don't know.
That one again could be an old Sewell type area. You could easily sync up Zargon with the mother Laera from Slorotan's tunnels and stuff.
Yeah, we have Forgotten City in the out in the Sea of Dust.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
B4, I would make it in Sewell in the Sea of Dust. Okay.
Yeah, and I think that ties in thematically from the Gorda books, the Sea of Death that Gary wrote that was published after he left TSR. And my guess is that these two are part of the same story, but one is told by Gary outside of TSR and one is told in TSR, so to speak. But you can probably weave them together in some sense, take inspiration from the Gorda book set in the same area and there you have it, so to speak. That you can.
A lot of Carlos's are placed in here, by the way, as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of other adventures.
And then Tom Moldvay did the B4 adventure at Lost City, and one of the really cool things about it is, much like what Gary and Rob do in their adventures, Tom gave you an outline and a path to build it out more if your players really get into it and you want to delve deeper.
Cool.
And I need to move these towns around because we know Gary, Julian, and me have worked on the backstory of that and with maps. So I need to replace them.
Are you sure that's not a Lost City from Rary the Trader?
Oh, that one is from Rary the Trader in Bright Desert.
Yes. Lost City on here.
No, but I don't name them the Lost. I don't name them after modules. I name them after the name that the city and the town and the keep has. That's the thing. That's why you don't find module names, because if the town was called so and so, then the town is named on my map or the keep or wherever it is. I go by geography, not by the module name, so to speak. So
yeah, I don't recall seeing it on the map at all. All right. Okay.
But I need to adjust the cities and the locations in the Sea of Dust so they match the backstory that is being developed. So yeah.
Absolutely. I thought I had this thing prompted up, and now I don't because I did something. I don't. Let me just check here. I'm gonna have to reboot this up here. Give me 1 second.
Yep.
Okay. Dungeon 69.
Okay.
I'm going to get praise or hatred.
Uh-oh.
This is the last of the series.
GREYHAWK.
This is the last of the series of 5 adventures. It's by Eric Boyd, so I can't go wrong, right?
Must be good. Yeah. Oh wow, yeah, the Yanti. No, not the Yanti.
No, that's not that one. Damn,
I was looking
No, I got this damn tickle cough coming.
Yeah, the Yanti you can put in Hepmona Land, or you can put them in the Sea Princes. There's a Yanti.
They're all over.
Hati
They're
Ska.
all over the Scarlet Brotherhood reference.
Yeah, Hati Ska was a Living GREYHAWK addition to the area of Sea Princes. So,
from from Dungeon 69 to 65 to 69 is the Mirror of Dead Men series. Okay, where it's a swamp and it's sinking. And where's, of course, I'm going to pull out. I pulled out the one of Eric Mona. With Eric Boyd, it doesn't show a map of the mirror, of course, but it fits on the terrain very well. I love that series. I just turned it from God, who was this? Who was the evil one in this? I changed it to Narol. It was simple to change the followers to Narol in this, and yeah, it's not showing it here. But there's of course I picked the one that doesn't have the final map of the entire mirror in it, which is stupid on my part. But so, and I placed it down here, and it worked real well, and that is down here in southern, right here. So I took this slither here, right here, and I just said there's a swamp there. Oh shit, sorry. Right there, the Mirror of Dead, there, right there, swamp right there for the Mirror of Dead Men series. There's nothing there. There you go. I added it in. So, yep. It's Forgotten Realms, yeah, because Eric Boyd wrote for a ton of Forgotten Realms, and it's 5 different authors, and it's the first event. Eric Mona and James Jacobs and Jason Bowman said they took inspiration from the Mirror of Dead Men out of the dungeon, because there's 5 different series in a row of adventures, and that's when they started calling, hey, let's do our own adventure path, and that's when they came up with Cauldron, Shackled City. So, it's an honorarium. Yep. Troy, hey, we ran it. We had fun with it. There's special rings. I can't remember who the undead god is that in Forgotten Realms. I just changed it to. I just changed these necromancer rings over to rings in the roll, and you'll see sometimes characters in the party, adventuring groups will have them from back. There's like 4 or 5 of them out there right now. So there you go. So that's a placement for me outside. Yeah. Alan, you ever absconded with anything from Forgotten Realms and posted in GREYHAWK?
Oh yeah, totally. I've swiped out parts of Undermountain to use in Castle GREYHAWK.
Oh, nice.
I really liked the Eric's Vampires of Waterdeep adventures that he did. They were 3E adventures in dungeon. So I've used those. I've mined and stolen pieces and parts out of the realms for years. The realms were published originally in Dragon in many cases before the box set came out.
Right.
So I was actually just going back and looking at some of the original materials from the box set and stuff, but like the spell books and new spells that were presented in them in the Pages from the Mages series, for example. I reskinned the names, gave them to, so some of those spells might become spells by Autoluke or Evard or other NPCs that aren't, circle of 8 people in my campaigns, things like that. So yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'll make Ed happy. And Eric Boyd did a lot of work in Forgotten Realms, and it was all good. So
yeah.
We
need to go to one more area, I think, because we might have some new influx of GREYHAWK, new GREYHAWK fans, so to speak, that haven't been around. But one thing they know about is Salt Marsh. We just need to show where it is on the map so people can know where it is, so to speak. So zoom in slowly. So
what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with the campfire map, and then
yeah,
I just
good.
It up.
Yep.
Here's Salt
because
Marsh.
we have some of the most legendary adventures in GREYHAWK.
Let me go onto your map here, and because
and it's not just U1 to 3 and the Ghost of Salt Marsh, of course, from 5e, but also UK1. is right in that vicinity.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit south of it. So let's go to that one a little bit after.
You mean,
so,
wait a minute, I got those. So here, I was prepared for that, Alan. Look at this.
Perfect. Yeah. So let's zoom in on. So we
UK
have
1, 2, 3, 5, and 7.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond the Crystal Cave, they're all good adventures. So all right, so here's your salt marsh. Here's all there's air. Look, there's stuff all over the place down here. If you scroll over here, you have Tomb of Sakatha, Baltron's Beacon, and Tomb of the Lizard King are both here. Right. If you go to a little
I was
to
going
the
to say
right,
now you need to mention one more there. There's
I do. The Dunmounds is here. Whore and the Hools by Carlos Lysing and me is right here. There you go. That's there too. Tower of Xenopus is right here too.
Yep.
Which is another legendary adventure. All right. So now as we go
from the Holmes Basic set. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you come down to this area, and I don't know where UK 1 is specific, but I know all the other UKs are in this area.
Yeah, they're set down
there. It's a new island off the Sea Princes.
That's right.
In the Gulf. So there's 3 on Darlene's map, and they added a 4th. The Cyberit Island, I think, is what it is.
Okay. Now I need to look at that's
the one where
here's Cyber here.
Yep.
It's here.
Yeah.
It's here.
Yeah. And then Carlos also did a Patreon adventure for as a sequel to UK 1 as well in his work.
Cool.
So that one hasn't been published as a standalone module yet.
Yeah, the Green Man is really cool. If I recall, in Beyond the Crystal Cave, it's bad because every day you're inside it, it's a year of real time. If I recall.
Yeah, it's got that kind of fairy kind of quality to it.
Yeah, so you're going to get stuck in there a long time. UK 2, The Sentinel and the Gauntlet, I've highly recommended for low level, a 2-part series. Very close to making my Wall of Fame, but just missed it. And then you got Eye of the Serpent, UK 5, and UK 7, Dark Clouds Gather. I'm missing, I have one of Starfall somewhere. That takes place in the Pomarsh, believe it or not. If you go to the map here,
and then we have lots of adventures to mention too.
Here it is. Tower of the Heavens is right here, and that's where it takes place.
Okay.
Oh wow. I've not actually played UK 5 or 7, but I used UK 6 also in the mountains into the Sea of Dust.
Oh, cool.
That one I think I placed on the map. There's one UK adventure set down in the Hell Furnaces somewhere.
Yeah, it's a good connection, either like there or like the Sulhot Mountains.
I forgot where I put it, but it's somewhere in the Hell Furnaces. There is one location.
Yeah, well, a lot of them are in the outskirts of the Hell Furnaces. All the standard UKs are in Berghoff, which kind of added on to the whole of the Sea Princes after the fact, but it fit perfectly. So all that glitters. It's probably all that glitters.
Yeah. That's
maybe
UK 6, sorry.
Maybe Windgate or something. There was something I put from the UK.
That sounds right.
Also, just all note gargoyles down here too, which I ran as a part of a fundraiser event.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What were we gonna say, Anna? As far as adding others, you said there was.
We were in the Pomarsh. We can just mention that Slavers territory.
Absolutely, and they're all
campaign.
Most of the original Slaver stuff takes place around Highport. You can see some of the places Slaver stockades here, and so the A1 through A4 is all in this area. All right, and then the Slavers reference from Sean Reynolds runs into Kellen Lekos, which is here, Suderham, all this area as well, and runs the whole gamut of the entirety of the area.
I can mention that my GIS map gets a thorough upgrade to the Pomarsh area, because there was stuff that I've forgotten that was added. That I reread all the articles and all the data I had on the Pomarsh. So I added. There is one orc tribe that got missing that is added, or 2 humanoid tribes that got added into it, and also these were just mentioned as orc lairs. Now I've actually taken the population numbers from that article and then taken for hobgoblins I take ×4, because these are only the warriors, but and orcs and others I think I take ×3 or 4, roughly like that. So they're now a bunch of towns, small towns, large towns, and stuff like that over in the Pomarsh area, because those were kind of realistic population numbers. So all of a sudden now we can see why they're such a threat, because there are lots of them down there. Yeah.
All right, some that are going to be going to question my sanity here. A couple I have left.
Uh-oh.
That's all right.
We don't question it.
Well, you may on this, because we all know this is my most recent change out. I've talked about it 100 times. But if
I think
if you come up here, where the hell's Orlane?
Zoom straight in there.
Straight
Go,
in.
Yeah, a little bit southwest.
Southwest.
A little bit southwest. There you go. Now you zoom in a little bit west. No, zoom in. Go west.
I don't
a
see
little
it.
bit west, southwest. Zoom in.
Southwest.
Yeah, I can read it from
there it
here.
Is. I see it.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
It's weird. Orlane.
Yep.
Right. Against Colorado God.
Another excellent module if you want to start out a new campaign or something. It's a good one. Yep. And so so I placed it there. It's fairly well written up that it's supposed to be roughly there, so to speak. I put it on the road between the major road there because that seems to fit the story,
right,
so to speak. So that's where Orlane is, and it doesn't have a city wall or anything. That's why it is a town, but it seems to be it's the regional little town there. So that's why it actually is the seat of the barony of Farvale. That's something that was added in Living Greyhawk. It's not mentioned in the module. So there we have, meaning Greyhawk is like over 40 years. It's like now 50 years of stuff being padded on top of each other. That's why you get stuff like this. So Living Greyhawk and from the ashes, and then Living Greyhawk added a lot of details on it that is not mentioned in the Orlane module. So if you read it, then you can put like say, oh, the ruler of Orlane is the Baron of Farvale, and you can give him a story too, and or whoever that is and stuff.
Or you can just move it.
Or you can do like what you did and rename it and call it Lorraine. Lorraine Williams will be pleased.
Yeah, so there you go. That's where I placed it, and that's what I did with it. All right, so that's one. Okay.
I liked Orlane back in the day. I ran that one a few times.
Yeah. Tough adventure.
And I changed it up at least once, where I took all the cultists and I Cthulhu hawked it, the whole thing.
Oh.
So the Naga in there becomes a dark Naga from Ed Greenwood.
Nice.
I gave her a Shoggoth also. All the troglodytes became deep ones.
Oh my god!
And the cultists became all the cultists became chaotic evil monks. So
cool
for Cthulhu, flavor. So
wow, that's pretty nasty. So if you all are watching Thursday night's game from last week and tomorrow night, all the player character friends are all dominated. Okay, figure it out. So we'll see. Watch tomorrow night. You go, oh, but I didn't rip it off. You'll understand what I'm talking about. I'm talking in riddles right now. All right, this one. I think this is placed, Anna. Whoops. Oh, look what just fell out of it. This just fell out.
Oh, it's one of these. They were printed in like.
This. I think it came out of the other one I have here.
That must be from a
Day of
Al-Akbar.
Yeah. That is the Sultanate of Arir. I think
right
it's
right, let me bring this up.
It was not originally set in Greyhawk, but the cup and talisman fits perfectly with the Bakloonish legends and stuff. So I put the Sultanate of Arir west of the Crystal Mists in the eastern end of the Dry Steppes. So yeah.
And that actually mirrors the original history of the cup and talisman, which were published in Strategic Review before the Dungeon Master's Guide came out, and they had no Greyhawk connection then either.
Yeah.
I hope this is in the right adventure. I know everyone's going to go, that's not, it can't be Greyhawk at all. So
no, but it's kind of cool because this shows that just like like Vecna, there's like one little seed written originally, and then one detail added, another detail, and then someone weaves it together, and then someone builds on that, and all of a sudden we have like Vecna or this. You take a few little magic items, a little story or whatever it is, and it becomes something huge eventually. So yeah.
All right, here we go.
Oh,
free campaign setting.
Okay.
A vampire story.
Yep.
Alan, did you ever run it?
I've not run it in Greyhawk. I ran it, but I did it as a demi-plane. So I used the mists, kind of the way they set it up in the module. The Renee became the gypsy folk, and they were the kind of lead-in into it, but I didn't ground it in Greyhawk at the time.
I've always thought, well, you get the Rene involvement, Vistani, Rene, put it on the edge of the near Div in a foggy area where and put it.
Yeah,
right
but it's so
along
significant that you can't
there.
put it in Furiundi. Then the Belvor would have rooted it out by now. He doesn't want any place like that in
Could
his
be on a
backyard.
different lake.
First off, Anna, Belvor's not king. Thromel's king. Okay.
Well, does he like it?
Secondly,
yeah, who cares? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could put it up on
Yeah.
on Quag or Wyas still.
There's all different sorts of places you can put.
There are two legends places that I think fit. At least one fits reason. Well, the problem is that the Vistani is the problem, making them Rene, because then you end up on the shores of Nirdu, which is kind of tricky in that sense. But there is, now I'm going to contradict myself, because there is a place in Furiundi that actually works.
Where would that be?
And it is the Bronze Blood Haunt.
Oh,
that is actually
That's up here.
An old keep on the shore, not too far from the shores of the near Div, so south, south and east. Yeah. They used to.
Oh, there it is.
Yep.
Yeah,
there it is.
that's what I mean.
That place might work, so to speak. Yeah,
there's a lot of empty spaces.
Yeah, and you can tie it into old history, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, look, you got lands that I think it would fit in a lot of spots that are out of the way.
Yeah.
I mean, I got crazy.
You'd make it a little island on the lake, a little fragment of the Isles of Woe still standing.
And you can say that it's swept. All you do is you go there and you get swept in by those that mist, and that's it, so to speak. So it can be there, but it's not there. It's somewhere else. It's in its own demi-plane. So what you have is a portal to the demi-plane of dread. That's the only thing that is in Greyhawk. But if you want to run a good vampire story in Greyhawk, there's two that I think could be good candidates for it, especially one because it already comes with a vampire, and that's Black Splinter in Reldeven. That comes with a vampire already, 16th level vampire necromancer. So he fits. He's basically Greyhawk's version of Strahd, and he is from the Evid the Undying. That's it's called Sergeant that wrote him up, and he is in. If you go to
what's the site again, Anna?
It's a Black Splinter north of Reldeven on the old, just south of Old Almor and the Harp River. That is it's a keep, Black Splinter. It's mentioned and written about in the Evid the Undying, and it's an old relative of the Crandons who turned vampire and is evil and so on. But he is family first, so to speak. So he's an evil little enclave in the otherwise fairly civilized and good standing Reldeven, so the Principality of Reldeven, and he's an heirly prince, so he has the titles and all that, and he's like 300 years old, but he wants to be kept to himself, and he's a vampire living there happily, or as happy as vampires can be, and Crandon or the current Prince Crandon in Carvend in Reldeven, it's his family, and he's not going to start a war to go out family. So they have some sort of truce or armistice. It seems like they tolerate each other, but it's not more than that. So he runs his own little vampire domain up there in the splinter. I call them the Splinter Marches up there because, and Black Splinter is the name of, and I created a heraldry for him too. So
nice.
so it's up there. But the story comes from Evid the Undying, and that he played a major part in my my Reldeven campaign, and he had a pet, a black dragon as his kind of a pet animal that protected, and he had a hag coven as well that was there, his gardeners that kind of kept the place sane, so to speak, in his opinion, and kept the garden pretty and all that, so to speak. So it's kind of a cool evil place that it's not doesn't want to conquer the world, so to speak, but they would love to eat a guest or two now and then. That will be pleasant. So yeah, it's
Would
really
you join
cool.
us for dinner?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want to run to say that you want a vampire story in Greyhawk, there is one already written up, so to speak, that you can tie into. Yep.
Speaking of vampire castles on lakes or other type places, do you remember Brigantine Castle, Jay? Yes. The ads and stuff from when we were kids? Yeah. Did you ever visit?
I visited, yes, one time. I think I was in 7th grade when I did it. And then you saw those posts going around. We did the one at Great Adventure multiple times. And then that thing, like 12 people died in that fire. If you remember, a Great Adventure up there in the haunted house there, and that was it for me. I like, never again am I going into one of those dark places. Yeah, there was one there. Yeah, go ahead.
For folks who don't know, the Brigantine Castle was a haunted house attraction in a castle in Brigantine, New Jersey, which is on the coast. And it was sort of a boardwalk attraction. And you could go in, and they had these TV ads that had all these sexy, seductress vampiresses and ghouls and monsters that would jump out at you. And this was all in the 70s, so they didn't have quite as many rules and regulations around them, like jump scaring and not touching you. So they might actually touch you, or you might get sprayed with fake blood or things like that while you're in there. So
yeah, those are the days. Us Gen Xers didn't have any rules.
No, we were tough.
We grew up the best. We were able to go outside and play, and we had computers. We had Commodore 64s
and no smartphones. So we screwed up. There was no evidence left, so to speak. So
all right. So my biggest one of all is I don't know where we should place this. I'm just kidding.
Oh, hang on a second.
It's Isle of Dread.
Oh, okay, Isle of Dread. Yeah, that's been placed. So yeah.
That was a joke. Yeah, Gary took care of that. So,
yep.
It's so far south. Thank you for that follow. Hope you're enjoying the discussion tonight. So, I know we've gone over a lot of them, but is there any that any of the audience or anyone else wants to discuss? Like, if you want to, like, we can randomly go about quickly in areas showing you. Struglo, nice to see you. If you come down here in Harby, Ghost Tower Inverness is right on the coast here. I always loved where it was placed. It fit right into my Harby group really well. So we actually
in the adventure is a little peninsula that sticks out in the ocean. So and it was supposed to be in the area. So that's I had a little peninsula on my map, so I just nailed it. And I thought it was far away enough from Hardby and stuff to be left alone, so to speak, but close enough that you can actually get to it.
Well, that's the thing. So I would foreshadow it, and it was the very first group we did, the Hardby Irregulars. So we had 3 adventuring groups in Hardby, but we did the first one, and they were going by it for another adventure. And there was a storm going, and the lightning strikes, and then they'd see it as they went by.
It's irresistible. You put something like that. The players they will run through it, whatever it is. So
put the danger of Dark Quarry in the Domain Harby. That makes sense.
Have you ever placed the original location for the tower somewhere in the Flanaess? Because he picked the tower up and moved it. And I always imagined that there was a
the tower of hang on a second,
of Galadriel.
I didn't know he moved that too. Because
so he moved it from another location.
Oh, okay. Then we need to put that one in. Okay.
I've always thought it would be very cool to sort of have the original dungeons.
Then we need to have
somewhere else.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. So.
There you go. See,
and I need to read the adventure again and see what we can glean.
There's not a lot of detail, but
but that's typical because they were supposed to be generic. So yeah.
All right, so that's one, and then if what else am I missing here? Oh, so if you're coming up way.
That is so cool because then I put this in my map notes, so I need to research and see what we can figure out. So thank you, Alan. That was awesome.
Yeah, sure.
So we got these two. You can barely see them, and Curtis had the honor of running through the entire first weekend at Founders and Legends. I did Tharizdun from start to finish. The entire weekend that Curtis played in and played Fritz, who actually got a point of dexterity from that from the red apple pull on there. So and we had 2 people. They poofed away into nothingness at the end of that. And
that's a target-rich environment where you are. You have the Obsidian Citadel that is Mordenkainen's hideout,
right?
And then north of that you have the Forgotten Temple of Tharizdun, and then south of a bit of there is you have the Lost Cavern of Tzolk'inth.
And you also have an adventure that runs through on Dungeon. I forget which one. It runs right through this river right here. I forget the name of it, but there's an adventure that we discussed it when we did the Dungeon series. And I was like,
river has a name?
Yeah, I forget the name of the event. I'm
positive. Come on here. I want to.
I'll
have
to look it back up. We'll go through one of those. I knew. I was like, oh my god, it ran right in between both of them.
Yeah. If that river has a name, we need to find it. And I've taken a little bit of liberty because some of these mountains are named. Igvil's Horn, for instance, is named somewhere, and Mount Sorkamth, it's mentioned that they're almost mentioned, so to speak. So
it's
I realized
implied that it might
exactly
be
it's implied that is a mountain. So I gave it the name of it, and then you have Mount Gras as another one that is kind of almost mentioned, so to speak. So I took a little bit of liberty and named those mountains there. There's a couple of other mountains that are in there. The Griffin Strike Peaks they are more Ket, north of Ket, up in the mountains. There's the Griffin Strike Peaks are there. They're mentioned somewhere. I forgot where, but I didn't come up with that name. So they are mentioned there. There is up in the Klatsbergs. There is Mount Sedane and Verbeek Head is there, and Mount Sentvor is there, and Mount Vroom is there too, up in Pearland.
So what are the highest out of, I know we're not going geography, but I'm assuming the Crystal Mists are the highest?
Well, I would say the Crystal Mist and the Southern and the Yahtils are the two highest.
Okay, so the Yahtils are as high. Okay.
Oh yeah, they're almost as high. So they're up there in the 30,000 feet almost peaks. Yeah.
Wow, they're as high as Everest.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a fantasy world. There needs to be a little bit higher than the real world, so to speak. Yeah.
That's cool.
But there are even taller mountains on Earth. There's a couple of other mountain ranges that are even taller than the Crystal Mist and the Yahtils. They're the tallest in the Flannese, but that's like the Alps. But we have the Himalayas. There are other mountain ranges on Earth that are even taller and bigger and more mighty. So yeah.
S4.
Yeah, in my homebrew world, one of my mountain chains is 60,000 feet. You know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I've in World Machine I've been limited to 20 kilometers high. That's 60,000 feet. So roughly about in the 50,000s, somewhere at 50 to 60,000 is probably. I've set the limit. Say, well, I would not make the mountains higher than that, but I'm going to make a new tool now, so I can probably make them even. Yeah, but somewhere around there. So, but then you have the idea: how do atmospheric pressure and oxygen level fall, or is it the plane of air so you can breathe all the way up in space? That's
how you get to the moon. You climb up the highest mountain and then fly to the moon.
Exactly. So it might be a gate to the plane of air and you can just go there. So it's a little bit up to how you want to run your D&D physics, so to speak.
I did not talk about Mar Castle there, Michael, because it's just that's a mega.
We should dungeon. Mention where we should show where that is. Between GREYHAWK and Ernst here. So
I see.
Yeah, you have it there.
It's
somewhere.
I'm getting closer. Here it is.
Yeah. Just zoom in and you get it there. So yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, and then Carlos has an adventure right in that vicinity for Mount Felnerix.
Okay. Mount Felnerix is there.
Yeah. His new adventure that he made available at Gary Con, if I remember right.
Yeah.
One of his new adventures.
Yeah, and Felnerix is there. So yeah, it's mentioned.
And this Lord Ellis Outpost is from a dungeon adventure. So right there too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that stuff's not too far from Diamond Lake either, from the Age of Worms.
Well, it's
there you go. Far. It's some miles away, but not too far from a global perspective. It's
Alan, I always sound closest to my own.
Okay.
Yeah, Diamond Lake was always our. You'll get this analogy. Diamond Lake was our Camden to Haddonfield.
Two-tone tabletop. Thank you so much. I made this map.
In the old games. So that was our shithole that we'd go to, and that's where the Tickling Feather originally comes from. And when they put the Age of Worms in the beginning, like, okay, good. Now they've written up in its entirety, so we kind of used the setting from there. But so there's Diamond Lake. But this is actually a hall. It's pretty far, but then
what's the one that's near the? I'm probably mixing up the settlement then, because I thought there was another mining settlement in the Aber Owls. Not too far
it's all the dwarven ones. You have Caracast, Dumbledan, and Graysmere.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, they're all right there. Yeah, Dumbledan, Caracast, and Graysmere are all right here. And look, if you're even luckier, the Doom Grinders up here.
Yeah. And I forgot, I simply assumed everybody knew, but that, we have new viewers. So this map, if you go to my website, nnbmeyer.com, you can download this map. It's all for free. You can even download the source material and stuff. So yeah.
And please note, if you haven't become a member of Cannon Fire, the Discord and the website, you're going to get some good. I mean, the legends. Rob Kuntz is on there all the time talking now. He just says Robbler, you'll know it's him, and then Gary Julian and Sam and all the other people. But from that, you'll get access to this, and this is the map and it's not completely up to date. There's some stuff that needs to be added, but you just go on this GREYHAWK map and click, boom.
Yep.
Look at that. A4.
Yeah. So Gary made I made the map, and Gary made that awesome web tool to.
Yeah, it's really good. So and then if you're really lucky. If I'm trying to I'll never get it because it's blocked here, and I got to complain about it. I can't even click on my own adventure. It's like covered. Look, I can't even click on it.
Too many adventures in one.
Too many adventures there, man.
Oh yeah. You can't zoom in for some reason. Yeah.
It's worth, and it's free. To always join, but and there's just chat it up.
So while we're on the subject of Rob again, real quickly,
Please.
Rob wrote the Mark Hassel Adventures, and then. He published back in the day in the 90s on his Old Pied Piper website various freebie support articles for Mark Hassel, and those got compiled in the Earth Journal number 23 or 24, which was a whole issue dedicated to Rob's work in GREYHAWK around Mark Hassel. So it included the Warlock's Walk adventure in there, and an article about the Anti-Paladin Nashed, and things like that had been stuff he published back in the aughts.
And a lot of Rob's stuff is all over the place, but you can still get the El Raja key, right? I still think that's available too.
Yes, that's still available. The Living Room adventure from Castle GREYHAWK is still available. His Dark Druids adventure is not available in print, but it is available in PDF form from him, along with his newer publications that he talked about in the last time we were on the show together in the month and a half ago, whatever it was.
Yeah.
It was only a couple weeks ago, believe it or not. I think it was only 2.5, 3 weeks ago. I know, time is flying by, man. And
it's already June almost.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. I said my first Saturday off from not streaming in 9 weeks this Saturday. I've done at least 4 streams a week, sometimes 5, for 2 months now. So I need the break because I'm working on something so big, Alan. I don't know if you heard, but we'll discuss it at the end here very shortly. So does anyone else have a place they want to place or talk about before we start doing shout outs here? As I know we're getting on to 9 o'clock, and we appreciate all the support tonight. We will do a giveaway. Troller Game should be finishing up. Hopefully they were raiding into us, but if they're still on where we go, we'll raid into them or raid into someone else. But take advantage of all the location links here and all the data. It's already been given to you. Is it going to? No, there is. See, I know you're busting my balls, Michael, but it's not going to be any Vampire Thrommel soon. You're all in for it. I'm going to get my revenge on every single one of yous. Right, Anna? No, Anna's going to be like, no, you're not. So, I know we went over a whole bookload of old adventures. I know there's a whole bunch we didn't discuss. We didn't discuss any real second edition adventures. We didn't discuss any dungeons or dragons, or some here and there, but not much. Third parties, not a lot of Carlos's. Carlos is all over the place. Joe Block stuff. I mean, there's a lot we didn't even touch, but we wanted to go with classics. No, I'm not going to do that, Moose.
And some of these classics are now being remade for 5e too, and have been mentioned and referred to and stuff. So yeah.
And there's some people who have converters on drive-through as well. That's all they have is a conversion chart for it, and they don't have the actual adventure. If I recall, there was someone who was doing that for the old adventures. So. But this is a real fun discussion tonight. I really want to say, Alan, thanks, man, for saving our butts here.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
happy to.
Luckily, your schedule got changed there a little bit. You get it on the full 2 hours. Here's the story of. Oh, I found it. Oh, look at this. Hey, should I sign up for your RPGA still? I got a member application right here. You think they'll accept it? Holy jeez. I don't think so.
Fill it out.
The story of the story of TSR.
There you go. That's the one that they did. The original version had an orange cover, colored cover, and it was 20 years of TSR. So then they updated it for the 25th anniversary. But from what I understand from some other collector folks, the content is mostly the same.
Cool.
Between the two.
Excellent. All right. Why don't we hit some shout outs up, see what everyone's got going on, and we'll go from there. So, Alan, what do you got? What do you got cooking? Got some fun.
So, North Texas RPG Con is in 1 week.
Yes.
So, I will be running my first play test of my roundabout level for Tribute Adventure for Janelle Jaquays there. And then
nice.
we're still working to publish that as a fundraiser. I got permission from Becky, Janelle's wife, to do that. So that's going to also get published as part of in a condensed form, I imagine, as part of the Return to Perinthos project, which is the fundraiser that was done for her back in January. And that fundraiser, while the fundraising effort went on in January, the fundraiser doesn't close. So people can still donate to that if they're interested in contributing to support Janelle's family for the expenses of dealing with, her funeral and all of that. And then they can also, support if they want to sort of help provide support for Janelle's LGBTQ trans support as an ally.
Yep.
That's very cool.
So that'll be debuting at North Texas in a week, and then a week from tomorrow, and then on Saturday at North Texas I will run the second round of my high-level undersea exoterial adventure Invasion, the Abyssal Rift. So that's that'll be the first play test of the second round, and that's 12th to 17th level characters underwater.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It should be fun.
That sounds...
If they live. We'll see.
Yeah, I'll say. One dispel magic underwater and you're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Unless you have a Helm of Underwater Action on.
Well, several of the characters have a number of magic items and stuff. So.
Wow. Damn.
But yeah, they'll need multiple redundant water breathing capabilities because the exoterials are spellcasters.
Yes,
and the spelling is high on their list.
That's crazy.
So
that's
what's going on with me in the short term.
Is it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or 4 days?
It's a 4-day con. So we'll be
Sunday.
down. I'll be down there Wednesday to Monday. We drive down, set up. Then we have the con Thursday to Sunday, tear down, and come back on Monday. Usually, sometimes I come back on Sunday. It kind of depends. I have actually some cousins down there, and sometimes I get together with her and her family, depending on how the timing of things works out.
Awesome.
So I've got to finish the kind of the last tweaks to the exoterial layer map that I've not been happy with still since GaryCon. So that's what I've been working on this week, is to kind of finish up those design things to figure out how do I want to test it this way or that way.
Alan, I'm so bad at underwater setups, man. I'm just terrible at it. So that's good. I'm glad to hear you got that down. It's tough.
Well, it was an adventure I started doing last summer for the No Art Punk 3 high level adventure competition, and I didn't get it finished in time to do that, but I like the concept enough to stick with it and keep working on it. So it should be fun. And I really like the exoterial. They're a great underused creature, and the OD&D version of them allows them to be both magic users as well as clerics. So I'm going with that, and then I'm giving some mutant versions of them and stuff too. Since they worship Demogorgon, the high level ones have tentacles and things like that.
It's just that's such a nasty deity or demon lord or whatever you want to call him. A copy of the Sea King's Malice from Frog God. Great for underwear stuff. A whole Sahagrin City. I have it. I have a whole bunch of. Michael, I just don't have time, man. I don't have time. I mean, like, it's just, I'm just not good at it. It's something that's not my wheelhouse, so I just stay away from it. Other people can do it. I just don't, it's not something that I have a lot of time to dedicate to while there are things going on. Plus, you'll understand why if you didn't see on Sunday what I announced. So, but Alan, thanks,
no, I didn't.
man.
So I'm looking forward to hearing more.
Oh yes, I'm going. Yes, I'm doing a first of something new, something I haven't tried yet, and we're gonna, and plus doing it in a crazy way. Yeah, well, time is something we all don't have enough of, Michael. Absolutely. I don't know what's going on.
A lot of stuff. First of all, my main thing right now is I'm up against the deadline working for a big commission for GameHall Con. So it's for Alan Kammer, or so
Alex.
it's sorry, yeah, Alex Kammer. Yeah. So he has a big map, and there's probably going to be some announcement. I don't know what's going to be with this, but it's cool. So that it's my main thing, so to speak, and it's harsh. I forgot how tough it is to do a commission when you have to work and it needs to please others rather than just me and the GREYHAWK fans. I'm out of my territory, so to speak.
Wow.
But it's interesting, and it's a big update to a map I did 6, 7, 8 years ago or something like that, and I've lost the files due to bad backup management and stuff. They got lost in the fray here, so I need to redo everything from scratch, so to speak. So that's why it took quite a bit longer. So I'm in the middle of that. It's probably about 60-70% done. So hopefully I will be another month and I will be completely out of it. But the worst part is hopefully done soon, so to speak. So that's the majority. But on the other hand, good news is that now I've got started to see documentations and stuff on Gaia 2, the new terrain tool that I have the early access to. The new features look exactly what I want. So
cool.
hopefully in a couple of months I will get my hands on an early version of all the tool called God Mode, very cool, and a bunch of other stuff. So that's the terrain tools I've dreamt of in forever, so to speak. So if it works half as good as advertised, it's going to be good.
And you'll need 1 terabyte of base RAM.
Well, I will need all the RAM you can get, so to speak. This one works both with the GPU and CPU and stuff. So
good.
That will be a huge lift, so to speak. So now I put a bunch of my projects on hold because I don't want to sit and work with World Machine if I get a way better tool in a few months. So that means that and also because we know what's coming in the DMG and stuff like that. So some of the projects that were they put 6 months on hold, but that means that I get to do other things. And one of the things that I had an idea is to dig into. We talked about Urflan and stuff. I'm always wanted to dig further back in history from the migration, go backwards. And one of the things I want to make sense of where these people came from, so to speak. Where do the Iridians, the Bakluni, and the Sul and stuff. And I had a bunch of ideas that I did when I did my Earth model back then a few years ago. And so now I'm putting down my initial, and I will release this not as a finished thing. I will release a first draft, and I'm going to post the big thing first draft. This is not something that is fully researched or anything. It's just an idea. I'm putting out an idea on how to do this. So it's not my saying, oh, this is the way it happened. This is my first just thoughts on the matter, so to speak. And then I will start reading back on the sources again and verify. And I expect and hope for to get a lot of criticism on them, so to speak. But they're coming. One is shown here, so to speak. And I have a bunch of ideas that ties into my Earth model, so to speak. And I think some of them will be cool because I wanted to see what's the geography of this, and it ties into a bunch of other openings and ideas. I have all the maps are done. The first draft version. It's just I just need to write up the little text blurb that comes through. So a day or two, and I will have that up. That's like a bunch of maps going back thousands of years back in time. I haven't put the years. I just put the episode in there because the years can have to be adjusted, so to speak, to come up with it. So that's one thing that is coming. And the GIS map is I'm spending an hour or two. So I'm on interprovincial borders, and then it will be local borders, and then it's waters and areas, and so that will probably be done in about end of July, I think. And then I have a couple of meetings with a couple of my patrons that we have some other cool projects that are in the making. Part 2 of my GIS is already underway, which is really good because that means that things can be sped up more properly. But there's a bunch of others, but I'm not going to spill the beans on those projects yet. But Hawk Tales will be having an alpha version probably next spring. That's the goal, so to speak, because those are my, instead of house rules, I had to give them a name. And so they will be, I will run it at GameHole.con. I will run a game where I will use an early version of these rules, so to speak. So I will play using those rules, so there will be pre-gens and stuff to it. So I have the scenarios already written up. So that you will play a part in my Shieldlands campaign for the adventure that I will run at GameHole.con. So yeah, so that's
awesome.
What's going on.
That sounds very fun.
Stream on Friday night.
Yes, and stream on Friday as well. Yep.
All right. So everyone knows. If you don't know by now, well, you do. You'll know again. This is the print goes ever on games. I want to show something to everyone, and that is how modular their minis are. Bill the Master Crafter loves them. Take a look. So see the halfling in the picture there. All right. Now look at all the options you can build with how you can put together these halflings. This is just the halfling sheriff pack. All right, so just note that they come completely, and that's why you'll notice on our table nothing looks identical, and that is why, because Bill's doing them all up, and in the program, and then chopping them up and making all different types, so nothing looks alike. And this is just page after page after page of stuff. And like I said, the winner on tomorrow night will get a $50 gift certificate to their site, and then if you join their Patreon, stuff's even cheaper. Giant bull, you can see like mounted halflings, all sorts of wonderful stuff on here. And they have a new RPG tier coming out very shortly to go away from Lord of the Rings stuff. But I say their Lord of the Rings stuff is really usable in GREYHAWK, as you can see on my table. With that, we finish up series Secrets of Redemption tomorrow night. All right, and that is an adventure that the first Ulic Pathfinders are out and about, and they've come to this town, and all the wardens of the town in southern Keeland, whoops, that's wrong here, go picture, they had to fight them all because they set them into a trap with undead, and they're all dominated. Does that sound familiar to an adventure that everyone knows for first and second level characters? I think it does. So here's a picture from above in an old temple of Pelor. Two of Bill's characters are up top. They're both dominated, and they're shooting down on the party because they're all controlled. There's an evil halfling here with some minions, and I think the scenes are perfect. Here's Tim's character Finder. He's dominated, but Fritz is right behind him to backstab him because Fritz doesn't care if he kills him. So there you go. Right, Curtis? So and there's a wall of fog up. We got some wonderful things going on in the scenery of that, and whoops. And so that is tomorrow night. I don't know what's going on for Gab and Sunday. Ann and I will discuss it. We'll figure it out. But here's the big thing. Here's the big thing, Alan. If you know, yes, Fritz is the man now, and my guys hate it, which makes it even better. If you know Tommy John Kelly, he really wrote up a novel based off the Hateful Wars, right? Which goes back 100. My game goes back between 130, 115 years into the past. A lot of it takes place in the Lort Mills. It's almost like Middle Earth, where there's an alliance of elves and dwarves and humans and gnomes, and they go to kick out all the humanoids of the Lort Mills. The story is already there, the lore is already there, and he does multiple chapters based on what happens. So I've decided, and I've talked about this for about a year, historical D&D adventures. So we are going to do, and I tie this in because I'm not sane or smart, with a 24-hour D&D stream. Starting Friday night, July 12th, and running through Saturday night, July 13th. I already got wife approval for all this. I'm going to run 3 adventures. We'll have talk shows, terrain change shows, all in between, have some special people on, talking about maybe the history. I'm going to have 3 adventures. I'm working on them now, and I'm taking ancestors of existing characters and placing them in these scenarios. All right. Coco Bunny is crazy enough. She's playing in all 3 adventures. So I have 2 humans and a gray elf for her already, and I'm writing them up now. I need 18 characters to run this, and that counts NPCs too. I got to create 18 brand new. Curtis and Brett are going to play in it. I'm going to reach out to some other community to play in it. Chuck Cumbo says he wants to play in it. Adam's going to play in it for existing relatives of characters, because a lot of people are going to get their ass kicked and die in this, because that's what happens in this Hateful Wars. A lot of people get slaughtered. So
But the cool in online games is you can just get another character in, so to speak.
Right, because this character, this will be a grandfather or humans. It's some great grandfathers or grandmothers, and the elves. If you're full blood grandfather, it's only 1 generation. Gray elf, half elf, maybe 1 or 2, depending. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Brungale, absolutely.
Very cool.
Nice. Yes, so I will be starting to reach out, and this is what I got to do. I got to tier this. I'm going to have a 9 o'clock p.m. game. Consider these games are going to go 5 to 6 hours. I'm not going to rush these games because I got to fill 24 hours. So that'll go to about 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay, and then the next one will run around 9 a.m. Saturday morning, and the last one will start at 3 p.m. Saturday, and that's all Eastern time. I got to figure out I have the 3 scenarios kind of worked out, and I need the proper racial characters based on the one. I'm going to have the scenario where Tricerin, Yolan's consort, gets killed, disappears. That's one of the scenarios. I mean, that's the biggest story out of them all, right? So we're gonna recreate that one. Yeah, that's one of them.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I have a couple other in mind that are more set to my campaign. So that's the big announcement. These are the first 4 that jumped in. Bird, Coco, Myriad, and April Nicole Hill are all in too. So I imagine a lot of other people. Yes, I'll be on a lot of drugs that day, but I got plenty of time. I'll be away from vacation and all. This is in July. This is after 4th of July, middle of the summer. Yeah, thank you. It'll be a D&D marathon. Like I said, it's not 1 game all the way 24 hours through. It's going to be 3 games. And if it's, who knows, I might squeeze a 4th one in. You never know. So, can Fritz and Erebus team up again? Curtis, this is 140 years in the past. How's that possible? Now, if you want to play a Winchester, I have the whole family tree. You want to play Elijah Winchester II, or Emerson Winchester II, or Charles Winchester, then you can do that. You got to play a relative in the past. This is in the year 490 to 510, roughly. Yep. So, yeah. So we can yeah, it's historical, but you're gonna play a relative of them, both of them. So we'll work it out. Yeah, that's right. I got to create 18 characters for this. Some of them are made, but they're in NPC form, and I got to, so. Oh, good to hear. That's the fun thing that I'm so excited about. That's before. Lastly, I want you to all start thinking, and please, I need to start getting the streams together, and all the people that are going. I know, Alan, you're going to be away, unfortunately, for Virtual GradCon 5. I know you're going to be up in ArnieCon, right?
It depends on my job situation. So
okay.
I haven't found a job yet. I still will definitely not be going to ArnieCon.
Okay. Well,
I hope for sure by then I'll have one.
Okay.
But I would have hoped to have one by now too.
I'm really sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
But
had some good interviews. So,
I'm hopeful that you get there, and you can't play in this because I'd rather you have the job and all. But we always love you playing this. October 4th through the 6th, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'll kick it off Thursday night on the 3rd. But we'll run games from, we'll run streams all the way through. I would love to have 24-hour coverage. I know it's tough, but a GREYHAWK adventure from 3 to 4 or 5 hours. Let me know. I will slot them in like I always do on years of participation and viewer average. Okay, so I have Saturday night, everyone. So please don't ask for Saturday night Prime. And John at Blue Box used to have Friday night, so I usually ask Carlos to fill that in. I don't. Is Carlos going to ArnieCon? Do you know? I doubt it, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, no. Usually I have Carlos go that night, or so I may switch that up. Maybe I'll have Darling go Friday night now. Yeah, there you go. So good. Yeah, see, you're thinking already. You're thinking. So at least one stream, and you can run as many games as you want off stream on your own channel. Everything's on your own channels. But you get a highlighted stream if you're a community partner, or whatever. New so I got a new person who's going to participate. I just talked to Oh my gosh, Arvin Elleron, really nice guy, and he's running goes to Salt Marsh now, and he's going to participate. So we're going to get some new ones in on this.
Cool.
Yeah, Armin's always in on it. Von Moker, he always runs something. Like late Friday night because it's in the middle of the day on Saturday for him or whatever. So he runs. He always is in. So okay, just note signups for this start end of June. Okay, so June like 30th, signups and registration starts. I charge $5 just so that it means something for people to get that it's a commitment. So all right, let's do the giveaway.
So does that mean, Jay, that you want events submitted before the end of June, or that's when events can start to be submitted?
June 30th, okay. Open up, and registration starts on June 30th. Here, let me just go to the site, and I'll real quick to share that with everyone here. It's a tabletop events like it is every year. That's 23. I'll just switch the 3 to a 4. Boom. And all right, there you go. Virtual.com, October 4th to the 6th, and here's the pending key dates. Registration event submission starts June 30th. Registration for them is August 24th, a month and a half before con goes. You can submit events up to September 28th, but the later you do, the less likelihood you're going to have people sign up for it. So yeah, we're going to start it on June 30th, end of June. All right. So, don't know yet. I haven't talked to Troy about doing, having Dan do the artwork here. That's a good question. It's a casualty. Thank you for asking that. Normally I'd have it done now, but then I threw in this 24-hour stream, and so that's what I'm planning for right now because I gotta get participation in that now, right? Because I'm going to 2 whole Saturdays in January. I'm away on vacation, so I'll work on that too. That's why I'm off from streaming this Saturday, June 1st. I'm going to get a lot of this done. All right? Okay, let's do the giveaway, and let's then I guess we're going to rate the Troller Games. They're still on. Could someone please check on Troller Games just to make sure that they're not jumping off any minute? I hate cross-rating over. It's a waste. All right, let's see who wins tonight. And thank you for all the support. We'll see you tomorrow night, 7:30. Like I said, nice $50 giveaway to a new sponsor with great stuff. A really nice guy, too. Max in Poland, and then they were really excited about the partnership. Here we go, winner tonight. Wow, that's a new name. Crooked Rook 77. Are they on still to claim? No, Gary, I'm not in Virtual GreyHawk. I'm not. Or Crooked Rook. Crooked Rook is on. I see him in chat. So they're there. I'll reach out. They're still watching, so they may be in lurk, but that's okay. Yep. I will get with that person. And Alan, thank you. Anna, thank you. Great show.
Thank you.
Great show.
Yeah, this was fun.
It was definitely a blast. And maybe down the road, a month or so or whenever, we'll do third-party ones. We'll get Carlos and you on, and we'll do some of the others you have. What is it?
Yep.
I got a whole pile of them here. And we can also place Rob's too.
Yeah.
So, all right. Thanks, everyone. See you tomorrow night, 7:30.
Yep.
All right. Have a good
one.
Bye,
everyone.
Am I going to the wrong button? Yeah, probably.
Even Chico got a cameo here. The last 2 seconds. Yeah.
Thank you all. Thank you.
He's learned to look out the window. If he stares behind the monitor, he can see out the window.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, the dogs going past. Yep.
Yeah, our cats climb up on the piano in the living room, and they look out to see what's happening.
Yeah, he figured that out like 2 weeks ago. He figured out that he can actually stand up there and see out the window. So yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you tomorrow night. Thank you. Make sure that worked. All right, there we go. Awesome.